Mic check. This thing on?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Welcome
back.
Back again. If you're
Yes,
not sick
he's
of us
back.
yet, you will be soon.
Good to see you. Let's roll.
Yes, good to see you, Ross. Missed you this weekend. Sounds like you had another wonderful weekend of running. Nice long one yesterday with Real Deal Neil and Frank the Tank.
Oh, man. Is there a better crew to roll with?
Not really.
Yeah.
Two of the best.
I love the vibes Frank brings. It's great to see him back in the fold. He's so fun, you know, someone who doesn't take it very serious and just really has a good attitude about him out on the trail. So it's fun to be in his presence. And yeah, we ripped a good 15 miler with a lot of climb in Upper Park. Found myself kind of getting a little emotional up on Guardians, kind of looking out at some of the views, just like, man, this never gets old. It gets me every time.
It really doesn't, man. We are so fortunate to have such wonderful trails. I think we say it every episode, like how lucky we are. But I don't think you can say it enough. And I think the only thing that we can do is to continue to enjoy it and spread the word and get out there as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, we started at 6 a.m. and the Butte County Search and Rescue Team was out, and they were about to start a fitness test hike. And they had to complete, I think, 8 miles with 20-pound vest. They went up Annie and back on Guardian. And they had to do it in a certain amount of time. I believe pretty much all of them passed. But that was kind of cool. It was like, oh, look at these guys.
Yeah.
They're getting out on the trails this morning. So
No kidding.
bright
Pulling a
early.
Kevin Radke, throwing on the weighted vest, doing up some
Nice.
hills up there in the park.
Way to bring it back to the last episode, man. That's great. It was fun to hear Kevin's story, by the way.
Yeah.
So
That guy's insane.
he's the best, man. What a trooper. What a fighter.
Yeah.
Lot of admiration for Kevin. If you haven't listened to that episode, go check it out. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. He is a real life running Rocky. Rags to riches story, dead last to, well, you got to listen to find out what happened next. But
Nice.
super cool stuff. On top of the long run you did on Sunday, looked like there was a little event put on by Fleet Feet on Saturday morning as well.
That's right. The Fall Trail Classic course preview was really, really cool. Actually, our guest today, coming up in a little bit, flagged the course preview.
Hope he did a good job.
I'm sure he did. And it was neat. I had to cut it short, but from what I experienced out there, it was fun. They had Brooks out demoing some shoes. They had some electrolytes waiting for everybody at the finish line with some muffins and some organic gummy bears. So Shauna was doing her thing. They had an aid station way out there also for people to get fueled up on their run. So really neat, well-organized event. The only reason to cut it short was to go do some cleanup with the Butte Environmental Council and get in with the Bidwell Run Club crew, and just an amazing turnout at the 38th annual Butte Environmental Council Park and Creek cleanup. We were rocking in the Lindo Channel, filling up those trash bags, and the Real Deal Neil does not mess around. He was running circles around everybody, scooping up trash.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Real Deal goes hard. He has one speed, and that's all out. But thank you personally for participating, and anybody else who was out there this weekend helping to keep our parks beautiful and happy and healthy. Because we all benefit from that in the grand scheme of things. So very cool that that's a public event and that BRC has taken a pretty cool role in that.
Oh yeah, dude, so honored and grateful to be able to, contribute to a cause like that and to do so with such a great crew. It was that was a super fun day. That was like top 5, top 10 fun days of the year. Like get a little course preview and then clean up. Like I was editing a video that night of just the day, and I had just like so much footage of so much like fun interactions with a lot of people, and just like a good like spotlight and representation of community. So it was like, dude, this is a good day. Like I'm going to remember this day for a long, long time. So
I'm jealous that I couldn't
cool.
that I didn't get to attend. And
yeah, we missed you, man.
I'm glad it took place, and hopefully next year I'll be around to be able to attend and support what's going on, because that's super cool.
Yeah, well, you had a good reason Little traditional golf tourney. What were you up to?
Yeah, I was out of town up in Tahoe with 3 of my good friends that shoot. Like one of them I go back to kindergarten with, the other one's back to junior high. So these are guys I've known for 30 years or so. So yeah, we did a golf marathon up in the Truckee area. I had a great time. Was able to sneak out for a little run on Saturday morning in Truckee, going out through the Martis Valley. And God, I know I said it after I did that race up in Truckee a few weeks ago, or in Tahoe a few weeks ago, but Tahoe never sucks. Like, it's beautiful. The weather was ideal. I mean, I got out, I don't know, about 6:30 or 7 on Saturday morning, and there's a little fog hanging over the valley. Nice. It's super calm. The sun was starting to peek through the fog. It's just one of those, you said you were getting emotional up on Guardians. Like, It was the same kind of experience. Like,
cool.
It's so worth getting up and going and doing this stuff, because you get to experience a side of the outdoors that, if you're sleeping till 8 or 9 o'clock on a Saturday, which I have nothing against, it's pretty cool to go out and see that. So yeah, it was a wonderful weekend in Tahoe. Glad to be back. Looking forward to joining up with the groups and getting out this week with you to get some miles in. But enough about me and you. There were a couple people from Chico who ran a pretty big race this weekend.
Yeah, and one of them we got to get on the pod soon.
100%
Karen
agree.
Scott. I mean, what an amazing performance at Mammoth. Tell us more.
Yeah, she ran the 50K down at Mammoth Lakes. I don't know the exact name of the race, but it sounded like it was a bruiser. Mammoth is up in altitude. It had a whole bunch of climb.
Was it 6K?
I think so.
Woo.
Yeah, 6,000 feet of climbing. No big deal for Karen. She's tough as nails.
She really is, man. Yeah. She's just amazing. She's got a motor that just doesn't stop.
Yeah, she's super inspiring, like so many of the other folks that we talk about all the time on here. So Karen's super great work. We're proud of you. You're inspiring. Another local guy that was up running in that area as well, Pablo Suarez, ran the 26K. And from what I saw on his Strava post, had a PR by like 30 minutes in that distance.
Damn.
Yeah. So great work, Pablo. Good for you. Keep pushing yourself. Keep representing the community. And we're super proud of you guys and inspired by you. So keep it up. Also, that Mammoth race has a local connection beyond just a couple folks from Chico running in it this weekend. It's run by Tim Tollefson, who is a Chico native, very accomplished runner. And when Danny DeMeo was in here a few weeks ago, he was telling us that's what Tim does now. He runs races. Like he's a race director. So pretty cool stuff. Another guy who, I don't know about you, I'd love to pick his brain about everything he's done in running and this whole being a race director thing. So Tim, if this ever gets to you in some roundabout way, we'd love to chat sometime. So lots of cool stuff going on in Chico as always with the running.
Yeah. Tim's story would be wild. I mean, he was racing and running for Gary Town at Chico State, and then the ultra career kind of took off after that. And he obviously was really successful in that. But it'd be kind of interesting to learn about somebody who was competing collegiately and then kind of took this running in a different direction.
Totally.
And went like super long distance with it. So like what inspired that?
Yeah.
And now it's like directing races. That's awesome.
Yeah. What a good life.
What a cool story.
Yeah. Super cool. Speaking of super cool, you hinted at it a couple minutes ago. I'm super excited about tonight's episode. This is something that we have been talking about off mic for a while. Like, we got to make this happen. The last time this guy was in here, we said, hey, when this is all said and done, you got to come back in and tell us the whole story of what UTMB was like. So after this break, we're going to have none other than Logan Ziegenmeyer back in here talking about what it was like to run in UTMB 2025 through the French, Italian, and Swiss Alps.
Love it. We'll be right back, and this break is brought to you by
hydration. Drink your water, drink your electrolytes. Just stay hydrated. It'll make your life a lot better.
5 minutes later.
Welcome back. So, as mentioned, this is big time. Round 2 with the man, the myth, the legend, the local legend, Logan Ziegenmeyer, Bidwell Run Club leader, community connector, and fresh off UTMB 2025, the Super Bowl of ultra marathons. welcome to the podcast studio, Logan. How are you?
What's going on, guys? We are back. We are so back. So we're back. It's great to be in the land of the free, the great US of A. It's great to be back. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because you were representing the US of A at UTMB with a field of international runners.
Oh yeah.
That must have been kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Logan, buckle up because we have a lot we want to talk about.
Oh yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. Get us going, Ross.
Okay, well, first, let's start with this. You've been organizing and leading some Bidwell Run Club speed sessions lately. Last couple workouts, the energy, camaraderie, and growth has been amazing. You've been kind of getting acclimated back into that after UTMB. So let's kind of cover this real quick, and then we'll get into the run. How's it been going with BRC?
Man, it's been awesome being back and back in the community. And man, we've been just going hard for the past couple weeks now. I mean, even before, like during training, I mean, Melissa, Manny, Billy, they've all just been teeing off on just things that we've been trying to get accomplished, like the website, get out more into sponsorships and businesses, and then just grow and getting some more swag coming out. And they've just been really just getting after it. And then now that I'm finally out of the training mode and out of that just that era, I could relax and just focus a lot more on BRC. So now I've just like really set my motivation and into that realm of just growing BRC more and seeing what we could do,
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of the website, it's up, it's live.
It is
live.
live.
It looks really cool. So great work to you, to Melissa, Billy, Manny, and I know you got a couple other folks from the local area to kind of help with some photography and some videos, including our very own Ross Field here.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, if you haven't checked it out, bidwellrunningclub.com. It's super cool. Lots of info on what's happening with the club, any runs and events that are coming up. So,
Yeah, real quick, just shout out John, by the way.
Yeah, John was.
Yeah.
So we just updated the website actually just today. They were working on it, and they got a lot of that new footage of the drone footage. It's actually really cool. So that guy is awesome, and he's really helped with having you, Ross, there, and everybody get a camera. I mean, that was extremely cool. So I mean, stuff like that just goes a long way, and we've had a lot of members reach out for help, and I think that alone just shows that this community is just so awesome, and wants to help build this. It's not just the board members that are doing it. It's all of us collectively building such a cool club, and just to see the output from everybody volunteering to come, and it's so cool because we've met so many people that are just I specialize in website building. I specialize in photography. I do video. And it's we got a whole team of people with all these incredible attributes that we could just, dude, it's crazy. We got the fantastic 500 members, instead of the fantastic 4, it's a fantastic 500. So
That's great.
It's incredible. It's been really fun. So yeah, it's been, all hands on deck, just doing what we can to make BRC the best of the best in the NorCal. So
it's working.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
How are your camera skills?
My camera skills, actually, some of the pictures turned out pretty good. I was stoked on it. Some of them were blurry. I was like, dude, trying to focus, but I'm not. Most of them actually came out pretty good. So
That's great.
I was stoked. Yeah.
In my experience, it's really hard to take good, clean photos of people that are in movement.
Yeah. So I noticed that. Yeah. I was like, dude, I got to get used to I told John, I was like, dude, let me borrow this a couple more days because I might just come out here and do this because it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was super cool. And I was like, dude, I'd love to do this for the Fall Trail Classic, get out there and just take cool pictures of people up on Guardian Ridge or whatever. I mean, we could get some really cool photos. So.
Well, and you're out running in some places that probably aren't photographed a lot anyway. So you have an opportunity to really document even more of what you're doing beyond the stuff you're posting on Instagram and on Strava, whatever, really creating a huge portfolio of memories of all these places you're doing and the things you're doing. So, and with digital photography now, this isn't like film. Logan, you're not old enough to remember film, but Ross and I are. Film you had to like develop, and if you screwed up a picture, you were like shit out of luck, and you didn't find out until you developed the film. But like with the cameras now, it's like take as many pictures as you want. You're bound to have at least a handful of good ones.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Something else to keep you busy with all the free time that you
Oh,
have.
for sure. And when you're out there, it's funny when you're taking pictures in a spot. You run by it so many times, really fast. So you don't really notice the small things. So when you're out there and you're actually like waiting for runners, I was waiting for you guys and it's just like so quiet. And then you look at the trail in a different perspective and you're like, wow, this is like really cool. So you take pictures without runners and you're like, dude, these trails are incredible out here. So it's really special spot. And the other thing, the Friday men's workouts just been teeing off. I came back and was super motivated and to get that going again. And now that I have Fridays off this semester, so I'm like, dude, and everybody's just been coming out. We've had our biggest groups the past like 2 Fridays or 3 Fridays, and it's just been super motivating and inspiring, and it's awesome.
So as a segue into talking about UTMB, I saw you at that first Friday workout after you got back. And I think you said that was the first run you'd done since the race, right? So it was maybe 5 days, 4 or 5, 6 days, something like that. And one of the first things you said was, no, I'm like ready to get after it again. Like I'm inspired, I'm motivated. And I think that's pretty impressive, having a little glimpse, and we're going to get a lot more detail about what this whole experience was like, but having seen some photos and read some stuff about what was going on during that race, for you to come back and 5 days later be like, I'm ready to get after it. Like, it's not time to pump the brakes. It's just, I'm going to keep working hard. Pretty damn cool stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I was still running off that high for quite a while. Yeah. And I never got a low moment, but I've been still going. So it's been nice.
I imagine just the impact that's happening too with BRC. It's hard not to want to just keep it going.
Well, exactly. You come back and you see all these people, and when you have Strava, it's just, a serious FOMO for me when I see everybody run, and I'm just like, dude, I got to get back to my community. Yeah. And like, when you're here, you're like, everybody's running, everybody's doing stuff. Like, we got to go. Like, it just inspires me to get out and go. And then to create these runs for Friday, especially for the men's group, I think it's extremely beneficial for people that want to get in speed, and get faster and get stronger, and to see different workouts, and change things up a little bit. And then just having a community like we do, everybody just rallies, and we've just been pumping each other up on repeats or whatever it may be. It's just insane.
And speed workouts are so hard to get inspired and motivated to do solo. Like there's 2 runs. Speed workouts and really long runs are really hard for me to like do on my own. It's just hard to just hold myself accountable. But when you have one other person, or in this case, a whole group, whether it's our Friday men's or the Tuesday ladies too, right? They're out there in a big group doing the same things as we are, like, and having that group piece makes those hard workouts so much more enjoyable and so much more attainable, I think.
Exactly.
Misery loves company too.
100%. 100%.
There were some dogs on last Friday.
I saw that picture.
I got dogged. We all got dogged.
Nehemiah must have been out there.
Dude, I was like, holy
smokes.
The
form.
Yeah. Well, and then like I had no idea until a couple weeks ago at that first Friday workout when you got back, Logan. Bill Parnell is a monster.
Oh yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
Like I knew he did distances, but I didn't know it was like that. Like I was doing everything I could to stay like within a few yards of him running up that relatively short hill in Upper Park, and I couldn't. Like I had no idea. That guy is a dog. Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes back. He's got some cross country, I think, back in high school and stuff. And I don't know if what he did in collegiately, but dude, the guy's got legs that could just run. Yeah. And dude, I didn't know about the speed because I just always, he's a very big long distance runner, and he's got the endurance, and he's built like that, and he's completed some incredible 100 miles and ultra races, but to have him, like me and him just clipping each other, like I was like, holy smoke, like this guy is legit. Like I've never ran with him like that. So that was actually really cool. And it was fun to push each other both. Cause each one of those reps up to the water tower, man, it hurts you. It's just long enough to where, and it's just like at that right grade where we just call it douche grade, where it's runnable, but you hate it.
It's rough. It's rough. Yeah, 4 reps is plenty for me.
Exactly.
It's plenty.
Yeah.
Well, coming up this Friday, 2 mile time trial.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So we're adding a 2 mile time trial in. Yep. So we're gonna do it in Lower Park. And it's going to be like kind of like an out and back just on Peterson Memorial Drive. We'll do like an easy warm up mile and then do some dynamic stretches and drills and then just jump into a 2 mile time trial. And then I'll have it marked out and everything. And it'll just be like an out and back on the smooth, buttery side of Peterson Memorial Drive.
Which, we've talked about it already, but damn, that is some nice asphalt.
It's the nicest, dude. In NorCal.
It's so good. I take my son in there and he rides his bike and he's like, it's so smooth now. I'm like, yeah, this is what dreams are made out of, man.
Yeah, so that'll be a good one. And we already got like 8 people signed up. So everybody's chomping at the bits at that one to see kind of what they could throw down. Sure. And then we'll take that time and throw it in an Excel sheet. And this is what the the ladies do on Tuesdays as well. Kirsten has implemented that. So it's kind of nice to kind of mirror that same thing and then have something to grow off, in the next leading weeks and help motivate our members to keep coming to the Friday workouts or stay consistent in your running throughout the week.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to be there on Friday to do that workout.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, like you could do it.
Can't make it. Can we send you our time?
Yeah, you could send your times in. That way I could just throw them in. And then, 6 to 8 weeks, I'll plan out that second time we do the second test and then kind of base where we're at, is fitness improving, whatever it may be.
Sure.
But if you can't make it, do your own 2 mile time trial and send in your times. And then that way we could have a full Excel sheet on that and come back to that later on.
Sweet.
So
that sounds awesome.
Really cool. And hey, after last Friday's run, I think you hopped on the bike and did maybe a little flagging of the course. For Fleet Feet.
Yeah, it was. Shauna needed some help, so I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure." Like, get out there and flag the rest of the course for the Fall Trail Classic Half Marathon, and then got out there on the bike, rode out, started flagging from Park Road, basically Bear Hole, all the way up to the end, and then crossed the creek and stuff, and climbed up 10 Mile to Guardian and back down.
Wait.
So I did it the opposite way.
But you rode your bike up?
Yeah. It's, let me tell you, I'd rather run it.
Yeah.
For sure. Riding a bike up that sucks, but it was fun.
Coming down's probably glorious.
Yeah.
Do you have an electric assist mountain bike?
No.
Oh,
this is not. No. We do not invest in e-bikes.
Oh, man.
So what do you think of the course?
Well, I mean, I think the course, I love that course. I think it hits everything in the park. I mean, besides B Trail, and North Rim, which is fine. But I think on the south side coming up Annie B, you're hitting Bloody Pin. You're getting up on Guardian, which is the best section of Guardian. Is that last mile and a half or 2 miles on Guardian. And then you climb the rest of 10 Mile House up to the gate, which I believe there's an aid station up there. And then basically after that, it's all downhill. For about a mile, 1.3 to 1.5. And then you hit kind of that flat section all the way to the Butte County Ecological Reserve. Well, you'll run out there to do like a quick out and back, but it's kind of rolly, but it's kind of like on a dirt road. So it's pretty runnable. And then I don't know if there's an aid station out there or not. And then basically you do that little out and back, and then you come back, and then you drop down into the creek and cross the creek. And then I think from what I've gathered, I don't think Upper Yahi's going to be ready to go for race day. I was checking it out, and it's pretty rough. There's a lot of trees down, and I just don't know if there's going to be enough volunteers. I could be wrong, but I told her, I was like, hey, we could do it.
Yeah.
You know, we got a lot of people,
Yep.
you know, and that we could knock it out. But
Some chainsaws and some manpower.
Exactly. So it definitely needs some rehabilitation on that trail for sure. But I think it'll probably eventually just be Park Road all the way back, I believe.
Then back through the golf course.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
there in the meadow.
Yeah, and then you'll get onto Yahi back at Bear Hole, which there will be an aid station there.
Okay.
And then you'll get on Yahi and then chase it all the way back. So
Cool.
Sweet.
But I think the course, it's a beautiful course. I think it hits everything in our park. So I definitely want to do it, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to sit this one out and volunteer.
Take some pictures.
Yeah.
Be an aid station captain. Last year, me and Andrew were aid station captains at B Trail Aid. So right before you made that climb up from middle, we were right there.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was a good time being out there cheering everybody on. So.
Well, there was a big turnout for the course preview Saturday morning. Just a great vibe. Shauna's doing her thing and crushing it, and hopefully a lot of people sign up. The race is October 19th. It's going to be here quick. Let's go. Later on that day, Bidwell Run Club had involvement in the 38th annual Bidwell Park and Chico Creek cleanup. The Lindo Channel section was tackled by a strong crew. Civic engagement, it's important for BRC, right? I mean, you guys do such a good job of staying involved in the community and wanting to help out. And I know the Butte Environmental Council was so happy with the work done by Bidwell Run Club. I think the what they left on the post, the little caption was legends with a couple hearts. They're very grateful. So yeah, man, I mean, you guys celebrate the broader community effort and reflect on, tell us why giving back matters here.
Well, I mean, I think that's one of our initiatives as a run club is to make sure we give back to this amazing community in this park. And that's always been a number one priority is, we use and abuse these trails and these park systems that we love, but we also got to give back. And whether it's trail maintenance or cleanup, those are the ways that our members could give back. And I sadly had to work that day, otherwise I'd be there. But it's great to see a great showing of members that care about these the waterways and the trails and to clean up. And we're very grateful to have members that go out and volunteer at these things. And it definitely means a lot to us as board members and people who just want to inspire this community to do better things and keep our parks clean and be able to run on them for foreseeable future. So it matters to us. So it's great to see.
Definitely legends.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's roll into the main segment. Give our viewers what they've been waiting for: a UTMB 2025 recap. The last time we talked, you were full on in the training mode, getting ready to go, man. Set the scene for us. The Super Bowl of ultra marathons. What was it like arriving in Chamonix with your support crew, or where you kind of traveled to some places maybe before? What was it like getting overseas?
It was a trip and a half to get over there. I mean, we had to fly to Atlanta. Then from Atlanta, you had to fly to Amsterdam, and then you had to take one little plane from Amsterdam over to Geneva. So it's quite a bit of hours on a plane and flip-flopping. And the travel was actually pretty rough. The jet lag was serious. So I'm glad we showed up there early.
How many days early were you there?
So we were there 7 days early.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah. So we got to Geneva and we stayed there for about 4 days, and then we went to Annecy for like a day, which is really beautiful lake, picturesque, like French city along this lakeside. Absolutely beautiful waters. and the food was just amazing. Just the culture is so crazy and different, and it was a beautiful place. But we stayed in Geneva, which is like one of the biggest cities there. It's actually one of the richest cities in France, apparently, or not France, Switzerland. This place is incredible. They have the United Nations building there. There's just a lot of big attractions there. But yeah, we stayed there for a couple days, and man, it took me 2 or 3 days to get on the sleep schedule. Like, I was that messed up.
Wow.
It really did actually a number on me. That's the first time I've flown over to Europe and, had that much of a jet lag. So that kind of hit me kind of hard a little bit. So I was actually like, holy smokes. Like, we got there and it was like midday, didn't really go to sleep. And then the next day it felt like we slept like the whole day. Like, it was just like, holy smokes. And then I was like, well, maybe I could break this with like a little shakeout run, because they say one of the best things to do is like after you fly somewhere pretty far, whatever it is, distance, it's best to kind of get in a little shakeout or workout to kind of help reset the body and just get in that mode of like, it just helps flush things out. But it really didn't help, to be honest, because I was still off for like day 3, but it was, so we did some, touristy things around Geneva and Annecy, and ate so much pizza and spaghetti and just amazing food.
Carb loading.
Carb loading started early.
How do you go over there and balance being a tourist and trying to enjoy this while also keeping in mind, I'm running 107 miles in a few days. I got to show a little restraint here. Like, how did you balance that? Or did you not balance it?
I honestly didn't balance it. I mean, somewhat to a degree, but I definitely, it's interesting over there. The food over there, like, compared to like here, you could tell the difference in quality over there. I mean, it's just like, when I eat a pizza here, like, you're not like, you feel just like bloated. You don't feel, when you're over there, like, dude, I had like 2 pizzas. Like, I was eating all types of, fresh, good food. And it was easily digestible. Like, I felt good. Like, I didn't feel sluggish at all. When I was like carb loading early. But it was a trip to kind of be over there and in that culture for sure for a minute to kind of get used to.
All right. So what was the best thing you ate during the whole trip, whether it was before the race or, in the couple days after the race? What was like your favorite meal? Like, I would eat that every day and twice on Sundays.
Honestly, it was just like a margarita, or what do they call it? Margaretti pizza.
Yeah, just
margarita or margaretti
cheese,
or something like that. Yeah,
and
just like,
tomatoes and basil.
It was just a simple pizza that was just amazing. Like, it was, I had some other things that, the names were outlandish. Like, I couldn't remember exactly what they were, but there's some good, chicken Alfredo and just amazing food.
So does this mean
gelato?
That Logan's gonna build a pizza oven in his backyard?
Dude, I'm thinking about it.
Connoisseur?
Like, that brick oven, just
Dude, let's go.
They were all fresh, just right out. Yeah, it was amazing.
That's very cool. So you got there about 7 days before. Last time we chatted, you were saying you were bringing a pretty good sized crew with you. Crew meaning a lot of people with you, but they weren't going to actually be your crew during the race. Who came with you?
Yeah, so my whole family came, my mom, dad, and then my 2 brothers, actually, they both came. And then my mother-in-law, Callie, my fiance, her mom came. And then Callie came, and we had a whole crew of us. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, it was cool to have them come out and join me and watch and see what this incredible race is all about.
Yeah, well, and I think it's really powerful that you were able to bring them, or they were able to come along, because they've watched what you've been doing for the last few years, if we're talking big picture, but more specifically for this race for the last 8 or 10 months, the work you've been putting in. So it's pretty cool that they're able to see like the big payoff. Like, this is what these hours and hours and hours and thousands of miles of running are building up to.
Exactly. Yeah. Got to see the whole picture all the way leading up to the big Super Bowl, basically. Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty cool experience.
I love it. What was the energy of Chamonix the day or two before the race?
Yeah, so we finally got in. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. No, it was Wednesday. And yeah, we got into Chamonix, and we took a bus from Geneva, and just I mean, just the mountains that we were driving through. I mean, just absolutely incredible. Like mountains I've never seen before.
Tahoe's beautiful, but the Alps are another level.
It's insane. It's literally was like a movie, picturesque mountains that you just take out of a calendar, and you're like, wow, like I want to be there. And I was there, like, and I'm like still looking at these, like, 5,000, up to, 14, 15,000 foot peaks. And you're just like, this is insane. This is insanity. So when we got into the actual Chamonix village, it was like heavenly on steroids. Like it literally put anything in South Lake Tahoe or in Tahoe General to shame. Yeah. It was absolutely ridiculous. So you show up there and there's just runners everywhere. Like anyone who was on that bus was a runner. So you're like, everybody's like, are you running? What race are you running? Because there's so many races throughout the week, different distances.
That's something that I didn't know until I was kind of like jumping in to see starting times and figure out where you were so I could track. And it's like, wow, this is a whole series of races. This isn't just, the 100-miler. This is several other along the way. What are the other distances? Do you remember?
Yeah, so there's so many. There's they're starting like on Monday, there's PTL and like MTL. PTL is like a actual partner race where two people they run together. It's a partner race where they do 100 miles together, but they have to stay within a certain distance of each other, and they have to finish at the same time.
Ross?
But these are all different courses. So that one's actually really cool. And then there's another 100-mile race. It's a kind of different route. And then there's MTL. There's like a 16K. There's a 26K. There's a 50K, 100K, and then obviously the build up for the 100-mile, which is UTMB. So all those races are kind of like championship races for those distances in a way.
What an amazing event.
Yeah. So it's like amazing. A trail fest week. Yeah.
So it's a legitimate party.
Yeah, it's like an insane party.
There's somebody finishing every day.
Yeah.
So there's a party to celebrate each of those races.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, the town must be popping.
Oh, it's thousands of people, thousands of runners. I mean, you go there. There was different run groups. Like if you wanted to go run with people, you just tag along a run group, because there's run groups going everywhere. Like it was insane, like all up and down the streets. Everybody was living in this village and outside of little towns, and it's like, we were living next to Adidas Terex had their house down the block from us.
Yeah.
A couple other Compressed Sports had their house. Like all these companies and brands were in the village.
Yeah. It's probably a huge week for a lot of those companies to like really showcase their products and their athletes.
Exactly. Yep, they're there to support all their athletes and showcase, the best of their clothing line or gear.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big turnout for Europe. I mean, it's over there. Trail running's like cycling here. It's that crazy. Yeah. So
that's really cool. That's a good little angle to this. I didn't really think about that, but it makes so much sense. I'm so glad you shed some light on that.
Yeah.
Like that's fascinating.
Yeah. I'm curious. And you might not know, but are there people who run multiple races that week?
Typically, not really.
Okay.
People will just run one single race.
Because it's got to be hard to qualify in multiple categories, right? Multiple distance. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to the big day. It's the night before. How'd you sleep?
I honestly actually slept really good.
Nice.
Yeah, I slept like 9 hours. Coming into this, I was never really like stressed. It was actually one of the races where I had low anxiety. I didn't have very high stress. I felt whatever was going to happen out there, I was at ease with. And, I knew it was going to be hard. And I was fine with it, and, I've done hard things. And, leading up to this one, I was just like, well, this is it. Like, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I think the couple days before, just being around family and, my fiance, it was so relaxing and easygoing. And just being in Chamonix, the energy definitely brought it up a little bit. We're like, wow, okay, this is actually really happening.
Yeah.
But the sleep was great the night before. I got to sleep in. I didn't have an early start, like a 5 a.m. start. Like usually 100 miles are early starts. So those European starts, we had a 6 p.m. start. So
straight into the night.
Yes. So it forces everybody to go into the night. Okay. All the elites have to go into the night. So that's what's different when you compare that race to, say, Western States, which is like the Super Bowl of 100 miles over here in the States. It's actually the oldest 100 mile in the world. But Western States starts at, 5 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So those elites are able to finish that race. The top runners are able to finish that race, at dusk, when sometimes they won't even need a headlamp. Like Caleb Olson, that won States, he didn't even need a headlamp. So this race actually forces you to go through the night. Yeah. So no matter what fitness level you're at.
So
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you said the elites started at a certain time. Were you in that category of elites, or were there multiple categories, or is everybody that qualifies for this race, you're all in one group and go?
Yeah, so basically we were all in one giant group behind the elite group. So they kind of like taped off the elites in the front, and then they called them all in. They all walked down the entrance and called them out, kind of like the start of a basketball game, when they're calling out players. It literally is that same way for trail runners. And it's cool because they'll have like the Solomon team, and the whole Solomon team will come out in their kits, and they'll call out all the people that are running, or they'll have like the on running team, or Hoka. It's super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's really cool. So they'll go through like the top 10 women and men. Yeah, so it was really cool. So we're everybody else that's not elite or like sub-elite or just mid to back of the Packers are just in one giant corral behind this. And you got to get there an hour and a half early because if you don't, it's hard to get in. Because there's 2,500 runners. If you want to get up there close, that way you're not behind so many people when the race starts.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was kind of a nightmare squeezing through everybody. But yeah.
So remember last fall we both ran in the Monterey Bay half marathon. That was crazy to me. Like I'd never been in a race that big, and it sounds kind of similar where there's like corrals. Like if you're in this group, you're right here, and the next group's right behind them. Was that kind of like what it was? It's like a line of cattle like making their way.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, it was. And the crazy thing was we were all back there, and if you see a picture of all the runners back there, dude, there's like family members, there's people like that are not even running the race in the corral with us, like hanging out with a runner, and you're like, dude, this is crazy. Like,
so was Todd standing there like giving you a back massage before you start running? Like, you got this, bro, you got this.
So I was like, all right, guys, I gotta like walk away. I gotta get in this thing before. And then I couldn't even get through most of it because everybody was sitting down because they were there for an hour, so everybody's like sitting down.
Saving their place.
And saving that time on their feet.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Standing up and it's burning energy.
So, so I was like, all right, said my goodbyes. I was like, all right, guys, I'll see you, in a couple hours. And then, I started squeezing through the corral. And then that's when it was kind of like that moment hit. You're like, okay, this is about to start this whole thing. It's crazy.
Okay, well, speaking of which, I think a few years ago I was introduced to UTMB through a viral clip of the start of that race that year, everybody doing the thunderous clap. And it's, tell me about that ritual. Did it happen this year? Do you all kind of clap in rhythm? If so, it must have just been such a wild goosebump feeling, dude. Like,
it was electrifying. That's the one thing I've always, when I've seen that race go on, is the clapping together. And they did it a little bit earlier this year because they had like a bunch of other announcements. But once it starts, like, it's just epic, and they had this like song that they play as well. It's like called Conqueror. And when they play that, it just gives you goosebumps. And once the clapping starts, it's just like, it was thunderous. Like, it was just electrifying. Like, the energy was just off the chain.
So that take you back to football days?
Oh,
pumped
dude,
up
yeah.
before a game,
Oh, yeah.
the adrenaline,
The drum line, just getting ready to go out. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was that same feeling, for sure.
I can't imagine experiencing that. That's so cool. You got to feel that energy and to be kind of in that element. I mean, I'm like totally jealous of that. That's amazing. Dude.
Yeah,
Good
it was
for you, bro.
It was nothing like any other race I've been at, for sure. The energy was just electric.
That's so cool, man. And then here we go. We're off. The race starts. The support, is cheering you on, and then they kind of get a little smaller in the distance as you kind of trek forward. What was the start of the race like?
Yeah, so I mean, we're looking up, and I mean, obviously the day before they activated the cold weather kit mandatory gear because they've been watching the weather system throughout the week. Sure, and they were on top of it, and they activated the cold weather kit, so we needed more extra layers and extra gear into our pack. So I mean, we're all rolling with I think my pack was like 4 pounds probably with hydration in it, probably 4.5. I didn't weigh it, but I think it was right around there, full. Loaded with nutrition and water. And, at the start of the race, you see the clouds, and it's just like, it's definitely going to rain. Like, we knew it was going to rain right around the start line. And sure enough, once we started off, it started pouring. So, like, not even a mile in, we're running through these crowds through the town of Chamonix, and everybody's just going nuts, dude, for like 4 miles, dude. There's people on the I mean, I kid you not, dude. Everybody was out there.
Okay.
All these little kids running alongside you, like just cheering everybody on. And then it started downpouring, and then it was just like, okay, we better get our cold weather kit stuff out. And it was just like, all right, I grabbed my my rain jacket, put it over my vest, and that way I could kind of keep my vest from being soaked early on. And then, I just had that on. And, the first 6 miles are pretty runnable. And then we hit our first climb, and it was just pouring the whole way up this climb. And you could tell everybody was just, like, already in that mode of, like, okay, this is going to be a long race ahead of us, And then made that first climb and descended down into Courmayeur. Or not Courmayeur, Les Contamines, where it was like mile 20, where I got to see Cali for the first time. Nice. And we ran through this one town, and each climb we made, you drop down into a town. So each town had their own electrifying like crowd. Like it was just like, holy smoke. So we run through this downtown little French town, and everybody was out there just going nuts. And then we get to Les Contamines and get to the crew aid station, and that was just a nightmare of people just piling in. Everybody's crew, we were in this giant white tent, and I'm trying to find Cali, and it's just chaotic. Like I've never been in an aid station where it's that chaotic, where everybody's just trying to change clothes and put like tights on or rain pants, rain gear on, gloves. And then I finally see Callie, she like waves me down, and dude, it's just so crammed in there, and we're just trying to change stuff out. And I was feeling pretty good. And that
was around mile 20.
Yeah, that was at mile 20. And then it was just like, from there, it was like, I wasn't going to see her for another, 60 miles.
Okay.
So it was a turning moment for me to like realize like, okay, I'm not going to see any crew or anybody I know for 60 miles, which could turn out to be like 20 plus hours, or right around 20 hours or something like that. But it was, it was kind of something where you're like, okay, this is it. Like, I got to take care of myself, you know, the rest of the way, and you know, make sure that I'm doing the things I need to do to keep moving forward. Otherwise, you know, I can't, if I drop out anywhere along this course, like, it's just going to be a nightmare to get back.
So speaking of aid stations, Frank the Tank sent in a question about the aid stations.
Yeah, we got some listener questions.
Yeah.
Shout out Frank the Tank. We got some more coming up.
Yeah.
Let's go. Great time to pop in with one, Pete.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
So here's what Frank said. He said, how was the energy at each of the aid stations? Seemed like it was a party at each one. Hundreds of people crowding each station, out in the Alps in remote country, swing into an aid station, seeing everyone cheering for you must have psyched you up quite a bit.
Yeah, coming into the aid stations, it gives me chills right now just thinking about the energy was so electric, you know, and everybody was just cheering, you know, you on throughout the aid station. But once you get into the aid station, it's just chaos. Like, it's just chaos. And when you're not fluent in that, you know, whatever country you're in, that their language, which Les Contamines was in France. So you couldn't understand any of the volunteers. So you kind of just pointed at stuff, you asked for stuff, and they had some stuff that was labeled, and then obviously you could see all the food. But the food was just insane. Like, they had wheels of cheese. Like, I kid you not, that this guy was scraping cheese off. Wow. And there's salami. Guys were chopping up salami. There's crackers and bread.
Charcuterie.
Dude, it was a charcuterie aid station at every single one.
Wow.
And it was just insane. And then
great.
they had the best, like, broth and noodles and rice and soup mix because it was getting cold already. They had on tap Coca-Cola at every aid station.
Wow.
Yeah. Insane. I've never seen that ever. And sparkling water.
Oh, get out of here.
I swear to God, dude.
I'm in.
I swear. Sparkling water and Coca-Cola on tap. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
That's way cool.
Yeah.
So, you know, you mentioned the Fall Trail Classics coming up. This is a little off subject momentarily. And that, you know, you might be working an aid station or something like that. BRC, Bidwell Run Charcuterie?
I think, yeah, I'm probably going to start implementing some of those ideas into Fall Trail Classic, you know, psych people up. What the heck's going on out here with this charcuterie board?
Yeah. That's so cool. Frank, thanks for sending that question in.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
that was good.
That's way fun.
So this course is 172.7 kilometers. The rain, the mud, the snow, that first climb. I mean, was it just brutal?
So the first climb was actually really nice. I mean, it was raining, but it kind of cleared up. But the after I got down to Les Contamines and then we climbed out of Les Contamines, that was the real big climb that got us up into those horrible conditions. So after Les Contamines, I got my rain pants on, I got my rain jacket, I got my snowboarding gloves.
Dang.
I put my headphones in. I was feeling good. I was pumped. I was jacked up. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Like, you know, let's make it to the halfway point, basically, or make it to that next aid station. Because all about in these 100-mile races, you want to break them up to where you're just focusing on getting from one aid station to the next. Don't focus on the whole picture. Yeah. Just focus on getting from one point A to point B. If that's the aid station to aid station.
I like that.
Okay, so you got to break it up so it doesn't overwhelm you so much.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's focus on getting the next aid station. So at each aid station, it tells you the route, the elevation profile. They'll have like a big picture of it up on the tent, and they'll tell you how long it is, how much elevation you're gaining, whatever it may be. But everything was in meters and kilometers and stuff, so you got to convert it. But it's kind of nice to know that you're like, okay, this is how far the next one is, so you could kind of gauge how much nutrition you could take in, you know, so you don't run out of like fluids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that climb up to, they call it the Col de la Baume, and it was pouring rain. We're making the climb. It's muddy. We get up to, I think we climbed for about an hour, and then the rain stopped. And basically after the rain stopped, you know, it's a 20% grade. I looked at my watch. They were 20% grade. climb, and we're just all trekking with our poles out, and then next thing you know, the rain stops, and you just start seeing these white snowflakes hit my glove, and I'm like, there's no way, like, this is crazy, this can't be right. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, I look up, the whole trail ahead of me is just snowing and covered in snow. And yep, sure enough, like 10 minutes later, everybody's starting to kind of like panic, like, holy smokes, we're up on top of this hill. And then the wind started. It was like 30, 40 mile per hour winds on top of snow. And you get your hands start to freeze because I had my snowboarding gloves on and they were still frozen. And my feet, we were running on a trail that had a river flowing through it. Like, I don't know if you've ever ran on A&B when it's like a real rainy day and like it's flowing like down the trail. It was like that with snow, 30 mile per hour winds, and you're on rocky terrain, like super technical terrain. Dude. So you're looking up and I'm like, wow, there's like 40 people in front of me, 40 people behind me. And everybody's trying to like just get up on top of the ridge and drop off this mountain. Cause it started at that point, you could tell people were starting to panic. If they didn't because people didn't put on the gear, at that last aid station. Wow. So they did not expect it. And then, you could tell people were panicking and people were pulling off the trail to get their gear on to stay warm. And it's like, at that point, it's super hard to get warm again because you stopped running. You're trying to put on gear. You're trying to pull stuff out of your pack with like frozen hands, basically. So at that point, it was just like, okay, I got to get the hell off this mountain, like, and get down to where it's warmer.
That's crazy. So, speaking of having all of this rain gear on, pants, jacket, gloves, had you done any training with that much clothing on?
I have ran with that type of gear on during Cocodona, the Cocodona 250. So I've experienced cold temperatures at altitude, but never like a snowstorm. I love running in rain. But obviously the training block that I put in, there was like no rain. So I never had to pull out the rain pants or the rain jacket. Yeah. And, but I do love it. I enjoy it and it doesn't bother me that much, but the snow kind of was just like, okay, this is adding another factor.
Right. It's probably more of a mental thing than anything, right? Cause we don't see snow around here, like ever. Like you have to drive an hour out of town to see like legitimate snow.
Yeah. And I knew at that point of the race, it was like, okay, this is a make it or break it night right now. If we can make it through this night and get to the Italian side, usually on that side of the mountain, it's sunny and clear and it's a lot better weather. And I was like, as long as we can make it through this night, we're fine. And but you could tell up on top of the mountain, there was one like aid station where it wasn't an aid station. It was a gear check station with like just one easy up on top of this mountain. And people were just checking our bibs and then checking our gear to make sure we have the mandatory gear. Yeah. And there was a refugio, which there's refugios along this trail. You could do the Tour de Mont Blanc and stay at these refugios. But people were going into the refugio to drop out of the race. And I saw a lot of people that were going in there and sleeping and dropping out because they couldn't get off the mountain fast enough. They got too cold. They were getting hypothermia. Yeah. So, I'm sure a good percentage of the people then, what was it, like almost 900 people dropped out of that race. So I think a good percentage dropped in that first section, first 30 miles.
Mentally, did you feel, what got you through that? What were you digging deep thinking about?
Yeah. I was thinking a lot about Callie, and I was just like, she knows like how strong I am and, mentally strong I am to get through some, serious bad sections of any race. And I just knew like, I didn't come all the way out here to have some blizzard like end my race. Yeah. Like if there's a moment to push through and to learn from this, like this is it right here. Like this is what is going to make or break me. And to get through this will just prove that, you know, my strength's valid. You know, I'm able to get through these very low moments in these races. And it's a very good teachable lesson. You know, I could take what I learned from that section to any race and just grow off that. And I just knew, I was like, I'm stronger than this. I had my gear on. I'm warm. I knew I was fine. I had my headphones in, or at least one side in. And then I kind of, at that section of the race, we started grouping up with guys. So people started grouping up, and like it was almost kind of a point where it was like people were like taking care of other people, like, hey, are you good back here, like how are you doing? Like it was actually kind of a cool moment. Obviously a lot of the French runners you couldn't even talk to because they're just like so driven and ego, like you know, just on one they thing. Didn't even really care, like they just. But like people I met from like the UK and there's a guy from like Ireland and stuff I ran with, and dude, we just chatted it up and we're like just talking game plan, like just got to get through this section. And a couple guys that were been out on that course a couple times, they just kind of helped out with like, dude, this section's this and that, you know, this is how much climbing's left, like, you know, this is where the aid station. So it was kind of nice to kind of group up with some people and just like let's get through the night. And it was cool because I was listening to some podcasts about the elites and they were doing the same thing. So it was kind of cool to like, yeah, we were all in that moment of like, I thought this race was going to actually, they were going to end the race. Like I really did. At some on top of that moment, I was like, dude, are they going to like cancel this race? Like this is getting actually wild. Like it was getting wild. Like at one point I was just like, whoa, like this is actually more than I bargained for. Like,
So, I mean, at that point, you know, I'm sure when you went into the race, you kind of had an idea of like, this is what I think I'm capable of. Was it at that point in the race, or did you was that a point in the race where you made adjustments to your own expectations for the race?
Yeah, I knew right off the bat, like, you know, the expectations that I had going into the race were out the window after I saw the snow. Like, I just knew at that point, it was like, okay, we just got to complete this thing. We got to get through this. You know, it hasn't snowed during this race in a very long time, and it hasn't had harsh conditions like that. And I was like, I knew we were only a 50K in. And there was you know, there was a long ways to go, and it was just like, okay, this is let's get this thing finished. Yeah. Let's you know, stay together and work together and make sure that I have all the nutrition I need, take care of my body, and make sure that I don't go into hypothermia or lose control, you know. And because sometimes when it's really cold like that and it's wet, you don't take in as much nutrition. So you got to be very careful when you're in those weather conditions to stay up on the fluids and the food and the calories, because you could lose it right after that.
I think this is a great time to bring in a community question from Kevin Radke, who was here last week talking with us. You know, he's done a couple 100-mile races now. And he had two very specific questions for you regarding fueling. First is, what was your fueling strategy for this race?
So I came in with precision nutrition, which was something I've worked all with my whole training block, and I've kind of switched over from scratch nutrition over to precision hydration, I believe, And they have gels, they have drink mix. I would have 4 scoops of drink mix from Precision into my each bottle, and that was 65 grams of carbs per bottle. And then I had these big 90-gram gels from Precision that were resealable gels that had the cap. I had those, and I had 30 gram carb gels, the smaller ones as well. So I always carried at least 5 of the big ones, 4 or 5 of those, and then like 8 of the smaller ones with me. So I had like a belt around me that carried most of that nutrition, and then some in my vest as well. And then I had an extra mandatory 500 calories or was it 5? I think it was actually 800 calories of food in the back of my pack, just in case for emergencies. That was mandatory.
So that was all like on the trail in motion. nutrition. When you got to the aid stations, what did you take in there, or did you not take in much there?
So when I got to the aid stations, it was because they didn't allow drop bags at every single aid station. Normally at a 100 mile, you'll have drop bags at each aid station, or some of them, a majority of them. But for how big this race is, if you can't get a crew at some of these aid stations, you just got to rely on the aid station food and what you have. And so I also carried like a lot of that drink mix. I actually portioned it out into small Ziploc bags, and I taped those up, and I carried at least 6 of those with me. So I could, when I got to an aid station, I'd refill and put that nutrition and shake it up in my bottles as well. So I carried that on top of me as well. But at those aid stations, I basically had to rely on the food there. So earlier on in the night when it started raining, I went straight to the broth, the noodles, the rice, to get that extra calories and carbs and that saltiness, and then just that warmth from
That's
the
what I was thinking.
the warmth from the broth. It's a game changer, and it's salty, it's good, and it was delicious, and they throw rice or noodles, whatever you wanted. So I mean, that and Coca-Cola was like my go-to.
Yeah.
Nice.
And bread.
So Kevin has another question along the same lines. What is your opinion on protein during a race? Like we talked last time that you are big on eating a lot of protein all the time through your training. How does that translate to an actual race day? Yeah,
I think, a lot of the times I actually did have a protein shake at the halfway point in my drop bag. They say that having protein during these longer endurance races really helps repair the muscles to an extent, but not having it at all won't. It doesn't have its pros and cons, but making sure that if you're able to get in some protein, take it, Okay. So I did have some salami and some more meat styles.
Well, and salami's good protein and salt.
And salt. Yeah, exactly. So I tried it, usually at a 100-mile race, I'll have a protein, like 2 or 3 protein shakes during the race, because it really does. I could tell the difference for sure when I take one in.
Well, and especially if you're so used to eating a lot of protein on a day-to-day basis, to just totally go no protein or like very little protein probably would feel terrible physically.
Yeah, it's when you train your body to on these endurance training blocks, and you train strictly on carbs for like these 30-mile long runs, 7-8 hours out there, your body gets used to it, and you want to train the gut a lot to what. So like I love to do runs where I'll eat quite a bit of food before I go run. And I've done that a lot through the training block, just to get your digestive system used to being full, and then being able to run on that, and to be able to digest while you're running.
Yeah. That's a really interesting strategy and approach. 'Cause I mean, it makes perfect sense. If you really break it down, you're going to have to eat a lot to make it through 100 miles. So you might as well practice like you play.
Yeah. So I was trying to take in at least, right around 90 to 100 grams of carbs an hour. I was probably roughly right around there, especially having the big 90-gram carb, packs. It's just so easy to take those down. I mean, it's just instant where I could take that whole gel down and it'd be 90 grams of carbs in my body.
Yeah.
And it's easily digestible. So
sure.
It's not quite 107 miles, but I did 15 miles this weekend and took a gel at every 3rd mile, trying to take a page out of your playbook. I was thinking about I'm going to try and just do more nutrition this run, see how I feel.
Yeah.
And the last few miles, I felt good. I felt better than I have on longer runs before.
Yeah.
That's good. So, that's good. That's what you want to do for sure. Every 3, that's perfect timing, because that could have been anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, and that's typically what you want. And when you're pre-fueling, fueling during the run, and post-fueling is so important for recovery. Post-fueling is very important, but even fueling towards the later ends of those miles
interesting.
are important, because a lot of times I would go on runs, I do a big run, 15, 20 miles. And then those last like 4 miles, I'm like, dude, I'm fine.
Yeah. I'll be home in an hour. It's fine.
It's like, no, but it's just taking that extra gel and then it helps with the recovery process a little bit better. Dang. It really does. The fueling really helps.
I wish I had one more then. Yeah. That's good to know.
Well, I think back to the Monterey Bay half, and I was talking to you afterwards, and I can't remember what you said, but maybe you had like 6 or 7 gels. Yeah. And I was like, oh, cool. I had 2 and a little bit of water.
And, and I was the same way. And I always like trying out new things and that Monterey Bay, I actually took in way too much, and I'm excited to like go back into the half marathon distance and try some new stuff.
Yeah.
But, it was cool testing that, the high carb fueling, big craze going on at that end. But, I used to run under fueled all the time, and I really, would bonk a lot of the times. And a lot of the times after those long runs, I would just sit on the couch and lay on the couch and be like depleted.
Yeah.
You would feel so depleted, like the rest of your day would just be like in a comatose. Like,
I think a lot of us probably under fuel for anything over, 6 or 8 miles. Like, it's probably at that point where you should really look at, I need to eat a little bit more, whether it's, what is Billy called the gel packs? Pockets,
pocket, pockets,
snot pockets, or if it's gummy chews or granola bar or something. My new fuel of champions before a workout is a Rice Krispie treat and
that's perfect.
Beef jerky.
That's legendary. You get the protein, and then you get the great carbs and sugars. Dude, that's actually
that's what I'm saying.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah,
well played. That's great. All right, so hey, let's continue on to the next section of this race, man. You're able to get out of all the rainy, wet gear, right? And did the weather open up? Were you able to catch some like crazy views this next section? Like break it down.
Yeah, so I mean, you're running through the night and you're not really gauging or looking at your watch and watching the time go by, but it felt like it just went by so quick. Like it was just like, holy crap, like the sun's coming up. Like, and as soon as that sun comes up, you see that first light. I mean, it's just a breath of fresh air in a 100-mile race when you're going through the night. You're like, I made it through the night. The sun gives you so much energy. You see that light. It wakes you up. It's like, okay, today's a new fresh day. It's a new start. Whatever we've done before, it's gone. It's left behind us. We're not even thinking about it anymore. Mm-hmm. So you finally make it through the night. You get that first light. You're feeling amazing. I was pumped up. Everybody was stoked on the trail. Like you could just tell the energy was a lot more lively. And it was just coming into Courmayeur, which was like the 50-mile mark. The left side of us was Mont Blanc, the beautiful mountain massif of Mont Blanc. And the sun's just starting to hit it, that first morning light. And it's just like the clouds start to clear. And it was just like one of the most incredible, like picturesque, beautiful, single track, buttery smooth trail just along this ridge line, looking down into this beautiful valley. And you got this 15,000 foot tall mountain to the left of you with like a glacier coming down it. And you're just like, wow, okay, this is why they call it the Super Bowl of trail running. Like, this is absolutely incredible.
This is what the suffering through the blizzard was for.
That's so cool.
And it was just like everything cleared up. We got down to Courmayeur, and that's like one of the biggest aid stations. It's like in this big gymnasium, and there's just tables everywhere. I got my drop bag. I got all my gear. I got new clothes in there. I got new pair of shoes. But I didn't have Callie. So that was like it's like, I got all this stuff, she's always here to just like help piece me back together, like, dude, she's like there to just like tape me up, piece me back together and like change out my gear and make sure, like, cause a lot of times your head's just not there, and you're like, okay, what do I need? I'm not thinking about it much, and she's doing all the thinking. She's able to do everything while I'm like focusing more on like getting nutrition in and, taking stuff down. So I'm there, I got to grab my drop bag, go up to the top of the gymnasium, go in there. It's massive. There's people, everywhere. And drop down at a table. I'm taking my rain pants off, taking my rain jacket, took all my clothes off. I changed everything. Changed all into a whole new wardrobe. Took my shoes off. They were just muddy and disgusting. And put my Hoka Maffe X's on. And I was like, yep, I'm running in these the rest of the race. Like, this is it. And just felt so good. Kind of like I had some like wet wipes in there. Just kind of gave myself like a small bath, with wet wipes, and had all my nutrition, swapped out my nutrition, and then had a lot of broth there. They actually had pizza there as well, so I was super stoked. Was able to get in some solid nutrition at that aid station. It was a big turning point. And then, but at that point, I actually broke. So my Lecky poles have like these what they call shark gloves that lock into the pole. Well, it broke. The D-ring that locks into it broke off, and I basically had one of the aid station volunteers tape my hand to my Lecky pole so I could like have leverage on my pole because I didn't have any, like, usually they have the straps, you could leverage off of. So that was kind of like a gear malfunction, that I had to diagnose. So I'm diagnosing something while I'm trying to take in nutrition and change all my clothes and try to keep my head straight and like, okay, we're not even halfway yet. I have a couple miles until I'm halfway, because it wasn't 100 miles. It had to be 100, 110, So
how many hours in are you at this point? You said you're 50 miles in, but how many hours?
I think I looked at my watch and I was like 14 or 15 hours into that. And I was like, holy smokes, man. Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like, these climbs are relentless. These views are incredible, but this race is no joke. Yeah. This is why it's the Super Bowl of trail running.
Yeah.
Like, just a piece of humble pie for sure. It's like, to train for something like this, you need to live in an environment like that. Yeah. It's incredible. And I think one of the only environments that can mirror something like that is maybe Salt Lake City, Utah, or Colorado.
Yeah, I would say way up in the mountains.
Yeah, like the San Juans of Colorado, like Telluride, where they have hard rock. Yeah. And it's just it's insane. It's insane train and trail, and then so I got myself together, and it was beautiful, sunny. And right out of the gates, out of that aid station, was about a 4,000 foot climb.
So before we get into that, we have another community question.
Oh, yeah.
This one's from Andrew. And he had a question about the trekking poles. He wrote, talk about pole use and any specific training you did to prepare for the heavy pole use. Followed that up with, might have to do a study on how pole usage affects energy expenditure. So kind of interesting. Yeah.
So, I trained with my poles. I've trained with them for multiple different races, so I've been used to them, but implementing them into a training block specific for a race is, I think, extremely important if you're going to use them, because I know people that have gone into races where they're like, I've never used poles, this is the first time I'm using poles. Well, you want to get used to using them, because when you use poles, it definitely puts your body in a different more upright position. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot different running, and your style's different. You're learning how to maneuver with, it's almost like 4 body parts.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like 4 different legs, but you're trying to stay synchronized when you're, either hiking or climbing or running with them. Mm-hmm. But, I used them all in my Lassen runs, getting used to them on the Broke-Off repeats and the Lassen repeats. And it's all about being a very good hiker with poles. Mm-hmm. There's great runners that could, do these races without poles, but for UTMB, you'll never see anybody without poles. It's mandatory. You got to have poles.
Okay. So definitely train with them.
Definitely train with them. They're extremely useful, but the thing is you got to even out the load of like your muscle fatigue. So having the poles is going to help take some of the load off your legs. So you're using more upper body. So it's good to have upper body strength. I mean, you don't want to have a ton, but you want to have some good upper body strength.
That's what I was just thinking, is it puts different stress, right? It's putting more stress on your arms and shoulders as opposed to on your legs.
Exactly. So it's taking the load off the legs a little bit. And then you could even use poles on the downhill as well to help, take some of that impact off your legs, which is actually a lot of people. I've done it multiple times, and you got to be careful though, because I've snapped poles,
Yeah, because you start to treat them like crutches.
Exactly.
And you're just like bouncing off of them.
Exactly.
Like the kid in high school with the sprained ankle and he's on his crutches just hauling tail down the hallway. Yeah.
But there's so many studies on using poles and, trading the energy expenditure between your legs to your upper body. And what that does, it doesn't, like, using your upper body a lot more on poles and hiking will actually kind of keeps your heart rate a little bit lower than obviously not using poles.
Which is really important when you're going this huge distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That's pretty wild stuff. Thank you for that one, Andrew.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, dude. Shout out Andrew. Missed that guy.
Yeah.
Which had me thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was like,
come back.
Yeah.
Come back.
Let's take a quick break. This has been a long segment. Want to make sure we get it locked in, and we'll be right back. This break is brought to you by Community Involved Questions. It's really neat that people chimed in and wanted to ask Logan something. So thanks to everybody who gave us a question. And if you didn't, you missed out. That's okay. We still love you.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
5 minutes later.
Welcome back. So you get out this aid station, and you said you had a 4,000-foot climb coming up for you.
Yeah.
Nice. What part of the race was this?
This was like mile 50 to 55. So I think it was it was probably about a 2.5, 3 mile climb straight up. I mean, right out of the gate, we're running through the town of Courmayeur, and it's another very beautiful, picturesque mountain, huge skiing community. Like,
oh, cool.
We ran down the hill that was like a ski hill, and then just absolutely beautiful. Courmayeur is pretty well known apparently, and it's actually one of the crux of the race. Like, if you can make it to Courmayeur, doing good, like as an elite runner, like they say that's the crux of the race, and you kind of find out, how everybody's doing at that point. But right out of the gates, it's about a 3 mile climb up to the very top. I mean, just super 25% grade, very rocky, rooty, technical, not runnable at all. You're hiking. Like, this race is a hiking race. You got to be a very good hiker. So I'm climbing up, and then there's guys that are, 6'3" or whatever, and their legs are about as tall as me, just making monstrous steps. And I'm just like, holy smokes. Like, I don't even know if I'm built for something like this. Like, I like to run, but hiking's cool. Like, and we finally get up to the very top, and it's just one of the most beautiful mornings. The sun finally, officially came out. The clouds are finally gone, and you just get this beautiful view of Mont Blanc, and you're just right in front of it. You're just straight up right in front of it. And the next 6 miles are just the flowiest single track in and out the side of this mountain while you're looking at this valley with a beautiful, fresh glacier river flowing. And then you got Mont Blanc to the left. And it's just like we were just in a town 2 miles ago, and now it feels like we're out in the middle of nowhere. Kid you not. And then you pop into another town, you're like, wow. So it's kind of crazy. It's like you're in civilization, and then you're out of civilization, and you're like these ebbs and flows of it, and you're just like, this is insane. It's like, when you're doing 100 mile out here in the States, at least the couple that I've done, they're pretty remote. When you're out in the forest, you don't really, depending on the race, you're not seeing civilization. If you do like mountain lakes or Bigfoot, we weren't going into any towns really at all. So it was just this dropping into towns and climbing back out, and just being out there was just some of the most beautiful scenery and trail I've ever run. And I really want to go back and get back out there and do the Tour de Mont Blanc to see it, all during the day.
Yeah.
And
not
take
necessarily
it a lot slower.
Yeah, say not necessarily to race, but to like.
I mean,
really...
maybe I felt fast at that time. I probably was not moving that fast, honestly, at all. I felt fast, maybe, but I felt really good after that halfway point, Courmayeur aid station. Everything. I was in a low moment until the sun came, and then I kind of popped out of it, and then got down to the aid station, got everything, changed everything, and I was kind of at a high point. And then I think there was some video footage of me climbing out of Courmayeur up towards the top of the aid station, because I saw a little bit of it. And then after that, I was feeling pretty good, and I was like, okay, well, this is the next. I heard that the next 10K is pretty runnable and pretty flowy, but don't take it out hot. Just take it easy and just take it as it is.
Because you still have
you still got
40 miles.
40 miles left. So I was like, so took that next section, and that was the most beautiful section, I think, of the race. And then dropped down into Araguesa aid station or something like that. But along the way, that whole trail, there's through hikers that are doing this trail. So people would be like cheering you on out there hiking the trail, and there would be Americans hiking it. So they'd be like, "Oh, America, USA, USA," and they'd cheer they'd have your name on the bib, and everybody would be like, "Go Logan, go Logan," like cheering you on the whole way. Like, so it was super cool.
It probably felt so good.
Oh, it felt really good. It just boosted the spirits, helped kind of just made you think like, I'm doing this more than, for myself. Like I'm doing it for, the community. And that was like another thing that got me through was like, dude, I cannot drop out on this race. I'm not DNFing, and I got to show out for Bidwell Run Club in my community. So that was like another push for me through that first night. It was like, dude, I'm not dropping. Yeah. It's like, there's just no way. There's no way. I got to push through this. It'd be the greatest story to tell.
And that's what we're here for right now, exactly. Is to get this greatest story to ever be told.
I think it's time for another community question. This one coming from Real Deal Neil. How did you develop a pacing strategy for this race because of all its steep climbs? Were you paying attention to your place, or did you just kind of have your own thing that you were sticking to?
A lot of the times, I'm a pretty competitive person when it comes to racing, and I always have high expectations of myself and, how much I train and how much I put into a race. And when this race started and it came out, and, the weather and the conditions that we received early on, and it kind of like, I had this weird ease where it was like, I just didn't really care about pace. I would look every now and then. I would put average pace on my watch. I wouldn't put like current pace, of the mile I'm in. So I'd always look at my average pace now throughout how far I've gone. And I would just gauge off that. And I would just be like, okay, I'm moving pretty decent, whatever. But I honestly didn't care about it. At that point, a halfway point in the race, I just said, let's just get this thing done, and enjoy the views and take pictures and run the sections I can, run the flats, run the downhills, try to hike good on the climbs. And because it was just one punch after another. Like it's just one gut punch after another. I mean, these climbs were just so relentless. And then, after these climbs, you have these hard downhills, but I'm used to running downhills, and, your body gets to a point to where it hurts so much to where it just kind of plateaus, and it's just like,
it's not going to get any worse.
It's not going to get any worse. So let's just run, and, and I just, I don't really look at pace anymore. I kind of stopped worrying about that. I would check the hours, okay, I'm like 20 hours in, and I started to gauge later on, like, okay, this is probably where I'm going to finish at. And I was okay with that. I was like, well, 30 plus hours. I'm like, whatever gets me across that finish line at this point, I don't even care. This has been an incredible journey, and I've enjoyed it so far. So
Hell yeah.
So I've got a question related to some of these climbs. Right? You said 20% grade, 25% grade. Can you translate that to something around here that we might be able to relate to how steep that is? Are we talking like going up Bloody Pin? Obviously, these climbs are a lot longer than Bloody Pin. Is it like going up 10 Mile House Road? Is it like when we were up at Lassen? Like, what would you compare it to as far as the incline, the grade?
Dude, it's uncomparable. It's uncomparable to any terrain that I've been to from Lassen down here.
Okay.
Like, when I was talking to Paul Webb.
Yeah.
Before I went out there, I caught him on 10 Mile House Road, and he's been out there. He's run a couple races out there. Legend. Guy's a legend. And he's like, when you train, like, I just want you to know, like, all these repeats and runs you've done, when you get out there, you will realize how steep and how insane the terrain and climbs are. He's like, there's nothing here that compares to it.
Yeah.
But keep doing your repeats as much as you can to get that vert in. But you will understand when you get out there. It's like, it's just so hard to, mimic that same terrain out here.
And if you could, there's nowhere that you can physically get to, right? There might be some areas way up Highway 32 that have a similar grade, but you can't get out to them because they're so remote.
Exactly. One thing that would probably mimic some of the climbs would be climbing Mount Shasta.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. If you did Mount Shasta not on a snow year,
Uh-huh.
like if there was no snow on it, which I've done a couple times, it's that basically.
Wow.
Are you in danger of, like, I don't know, losing a lot of ground because it's so steep if you kind of like take a bad step or?
In some sections possibly, but it's not like scree like Mount Shasta. I'm just talking like in terms of like just like how steep it is, and just how each step is just like, you're just bearing down. Your calves are balling up on you because you've just been, on the tips of your toes trying to climb up out of this thing because it's so steep. Wow. But in some sections, a lot of the trails, I mean, it's good trail.
Yeah.
And then other sections, like it will be a smooth climb, and then other climbs will be super rocky and big lunge steps, which just take a lot of energy out of you.
Yeah.
And very technical.
That's when you need those Matt Bonner length legs to
100%.
step over those big rocks. Yeah.
I need extensions, dude. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Got these short hobbit legs, dude. They're not good for hiking.
That's perfect.
Okay, so we get, I don't know, halfway the second half of this thing. What's going through your mind?
So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm flowing down from one of the probably fourth climb we've done already, and I'm dropping down into La Foule, and which is like right around mile like 60 or something. And then it's pretty runnable along this glacier river, and you're starting to see more towns and more people. And it's a beautiful day. It got up to 80 degrees, so we got a huge swing in weather conditions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that second day, we're getting hot, And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. So now we're getting some Chico weather at least,
Time to
Train
thrive.
for this, guys.
Time to thrive.
Yeah. And then I knew when I got to La Foule, I had about 10 La Foule was like 65, I think. And then I had 10 miles to go to get to, Le Champ-Lac, which is the aid station where I got to see Callie.
I was just going to say, we got to be getting close to seeing your people again.
Finally, I'm feeling great. I knew I was able to see my crew and I was running these next sections, like feeling really good. And I was passing a lot of people that went out really hot, and they're paying for it in these later miles. And I mean, a ton of people were walking. This is when I looked back and saw, the different changes of where I was placing at. And I must have passed like over 100 plus people in 2 or 3 different sections.
Wow.
And I mean, I was passing a bunch of people that were just, hurting bad. And I was feeling good. Like at this point I was at a super high moment. I was feeling great. I was fueling. I was doing everything great. And I was like, dude, this is freaking sweet. Like, I'm feeling awesome. Like, I don't even care how long it takes me to finish. I'm feeling really good. It's a beautiful day. And finally get to Chamonix, which is another big aid station around this beautiful lake. And get up there and I see Callie, and I'm like, just sigh of relief of just like, finally, like I get to see someone I know, my love, and just get to embrace that and just, okay, let's take a minute to regroup, get everything we need, because I still have 30 miles to go, basically from that point, and like 3 big climbs left.
Sure.
So see Callie, she, patches me back up. Get some new gear on again.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Switch out some new gear.
Changing stuff.
Change some stuff.
Okay.
I got some new gear on. Got my nutrition all dialed again. Just got everything ready to go. For another night, because we were going into another night. That was like 6 o'clock or something, and I was like, all right, I need all. Make sure I got my headlamps. I got 2 headlamps. Make sure I got my batteries. Got everything dialed, because you don't want to be out there with no light, because that'd just be awful. So get everything dialed, and then she's like, all right, everybody's waiting for you out at the lake. And then like my whole rest of my family were out at the lake, and they have all these signs and stuff. And it was sick. And I got out there and ran, and everybody, and you run along this lake and this beautiful path, and everybody was there, and it was just awesome to see them all. And it was just like a boost of like, all right, I can do this. Like, this is the this is the home stretch.
Yeah. The last 50K, you're last there.
50K. I'm like, I'm here, it's just, this is what I got to do. Just got to grit it out and get her done, kind of thing. And then just right after, and then a buddy of mine that I knew that was in the race, Colin Miller, he's down from San Bernardino. I actually ran with him at Canyons, which is the race that I qualified for UTMB, and he was able to get some stones through the lottery to get in. We were kind of running neck to neck, we'd run together a little bit here and there. So it was kind of nice to run with another American and be able to talk about the whole course. And we were like, and then we got to meet up. His crew was right there, and they were all talking with Callie, and it was just like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, let's go out. And then right out of the Chamonix aid station, we had another 4,000 foot climb. And it was just like,
kicking the teeth.
Let's just run this. Let's just do this together.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right,
dude,
let's
that's
do this,
rad.
dude.
Brotherhood.
So, it was sick. So we made a giant climb out of that. And it was just like a never ending climb. And we actually ran into an elite runner, Emily Hawgood, Adidas sponsored, badass runners, gotten incredible resume for races, got top 5 at Western States, has been in the top 10 at UTMB multiple times. Well, she just didn't have the day, she wanted, but she was still out there, and she looked rough. And I was like, I'm looking at her kit, and I'm like, we're climbing up, and we're getting closer, and I'm like, I know who that is, Colin. And he's like, who is it? I'm like, that's Emily freaking Hawgood. Like, she's an elite, badass, like, super cool, genuine girl that's just a badass trail runner. And I'm like, Emily, like, not that, like, I just know her through, trail running. I've never met her, but I'm like,
fanboying
wow,
out.
Yeah, fanboy. That's what I was thinking.
Like,
This little fanboy.
How's it going? Like, I'm like, well, obviously it's not going very good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're, if I'm running into you.
I wanted, but I was like, and you didn't even drop out yet. And she's like, no, I'm going to finish this thing. And I'm like, I have so much freaking respect for you, like right now.
That's
like an elite
cool.
runner to just, because they have every, chance to just drop out and just call it, give up. But to have the heart to be able to just like, no, I'm going to finish this thing. Like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I just had, that gave me another boost. And that was towards the top of the climb. I was like, dude, I respect that so much, like, from an elite runner, like, to be able to just be like, come out and finish this thing no matter what.
So, okay, so this is really interesting. Does it happen a lot then that if, like, you're in an elite position, you're this elite runner, and you're not having the race you want, do a lot of them drop?
Yep.
Okay, so the fact that she stuck with it goes away from sort of the elite running approach in a race that you don't really have it.
Yeah. Is this like, do you think, or maybe do you know, is that because those elite runners are always training for the, like, you know, they're going to go from UTMB and in 2 more months, they're going to go run another 100-mile race or 200-mile race. So if they're not having a day, is it not worth pushing through because it's just potential injury or delaying the preparation for what's next kind of a situation?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they could have something lined up to where they're just like, well, I'll just drop out, you know, and just save it, you know, or not get injured. You know, those are definitely all very, valid points that you brought up.
Right. Because that's their livelihood, right?
If
they're professional runners and that's the paycheck, then compromising the next paycheck by getting hurt now. But I think maybe it sounds like this runner respects this race so much that 100%. She doesn't want to disrespect it by dropping out, because she knows, like, this is one of those really hard races to get into, and there's such a small percentage of runners who actually get there that there's almost an obligation to finish it. And maybe you felt some of that too, right? Like, you've worked so hard and it's so hard to get here that dropping out, it's not in the cards. Yeah, you just can't do it. For Logan. Yeah. It's not in the cards for multiple reasons. Maybe that's just another reason.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, for sure. You see that a lot of times where elite runners just call it early, and you're like, dude, like,
I would do anything for that opportunity.
Yeah, or maybe you went through a low moment and they didn't have the mental strength, to push through it, because they're running so fast and they're so intense, in those intense moments where they got to make moves when they matter, or they're out of the race, But then you get these really humble, incredible athletes where that they go out and they gut it out and they finish the race. And people like this community are just like so inspired by people that are elite and that have a huge following. They're so inspired by people that do that, that are just like, I have so much respect for you right now. Like, that's epic. And I think she finished like 39 hours. Wow. So, it's just like, that's so cool.
That is cool. Mad respect for Emily.
Yeah.
Thank you for that context. Yeah. That's interesting. I will now look at these ultra races just a little bit differently when you see kind of some of those top runners drop out. It'll be like, okay, they didn't have it that day and they're not going to risk it.
Yeah. It's like the pitcher that, the starting pitcher that only makes it through 2 innings because, the fastball wasn't there today. The curveball didn't have. Yeah,
dude, exactly. Yeah. It's in every sport. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So, hey, we're getting close then. 30K left.
Yep.
Here we go. It must have started feeling real satisfying knowing that you were going to, cross that finish line soon.
Yeah, so we dropped down into Triant, which is like a very small town in this valley. We got done with a 4,000-foot climb, dropped down, and then Callie wasn't there. I just told them to go to the finish line, go back to the house and just rest. I'll see you guys at the finish line, in like 10 hours.
Yeah.
And at this
point, have a couple meals.
Yeah, like seriously. And at this point, they're tracking me and stuff, and we drop into Triant. Colin's family, or I think one of his crew members, were there, so it was kind of cool. I got to hang out with them and his crew, and then just regroup myself, and then just still have that energy to climb right out of Triant. Was basically the same climb we did, just like mirrored, like another 4,000-foot climb just straight out of the gate. And after that climb, we dropped back into Switzerland from France. So we finally got back into the kind of the back end of Chamonix Valley. So we were like, okay, we're finally on the right side of this mountain. Like, we've seen every side of this damn mountain, and we're finally back where we're noticing familiar sides of this mountain. So, we get out of there, and we ended up running into another American, Alex Proctor, and he's actually a pretty good runner too. And we all worked together. We grouped up and we're like, dude, let's finish this thing. And we all worked together and we climbed up off of that last hill and descended down into kind of the back end of Chamonix Valley. And there was like and the descents down were just rough at this point. It was just like, dude, let's get off this mountain. Like, it was just so technical and rooty. Like, you really had to. I'm surprised I didn't trip once. Besides sliding, I slid once during the snow blizzard down the mountain because it was just super muddy.
Yeah.
But other than that, I never tripped on any of the descents or runs.
Insane.
And I was like really happy with that. I was like,
Yeah, that's a win.
I didn't eat dirt at all. So, and these trails were just absolutely rugged. And, you know, especially during the night when you got a headlamp. And then, I mean, at that point we were running for 30 hours, you know?
It would be totally justified to catch a toe and fall, and there would be no judgments made.
Yeah, and we're starting to, you know, you're starting to go in that sleep deprivation and starting to hallucinate, you know.
I was going to ask about that. Are we having any visuals here?
We're starting to catch some visuals of rocks and different formations of things where you're like, I'm seeing cars and seeing other people, but they're definitely rocks when you get closer.
Yeah, there's no chance cars
like,
are up here.
You know it's there, it's happening, but you're like still like just focusing.
Yeah.
But you're like, God damn it. It's like taking your eyes off the trail and you're like, don't do that. Like, it's a very trippy thing to experience. It's very interesting. So yeah, going that long around the 30-hour mark is when you start to really hallucinate. So we're making that. We have one climb up to La Flégère, and then and it felt like it took freaking forever. Like, it was in and out, and it felt. And I go back and look at the route, and I'm like, dude, I swear we went up and down this mountain like 5 times.
Yeah.
Like, it was not straight. Yeah. And when I look at the trail and I'm like, it looks straight. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, who marked this?
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is insane. And we finally get up to La Flégère. It's, you know, we get past the 100. We're at 104 miles. And at this point, it's like 4 miles downhill. This is it, Colin. Like, let's do it, dude. And we just bombed it, dude, and we were feeling so good, and we were just like, hell, I mean, he was kind of feeling rough, but I was feeling good. And I was just like, dude, I'm going, and I had to kind of help him just keep it going. You know? And we were just at that last aid station, and there was like 6 of us in there, and everybody's like, this is it, you know. And it's freaking 2 a.m, you know, 3 a.m, and we're up in the clouds basically, and then we descend down, and you could see the valley, all the lights.
Sure.
And like,
oh, dude,
this is it.
Yeah.
Like, the final 4 freaking miles of this long ass journey. Like, thank God we're here.
Yeah.
So just descend about 3,000 feet on some horrible legs and just get down there. And I was running pretty good. I was feeling good, and we were
at that point,
people.
Is there a part of you that's almost feeling a little bit of sadness, like, dang, like, I'm at the end of this thing, like, I've done all this work to get to this, I made it through a crazy blizzard, I've gone up and down mountains for 30 plus hours. Is there a little bit of you that's like,
I don't want it to end,
damn, I don't want this to end?
Oh, for sure. There's always, you go, like, I'm getting the chills now just thinking about the emotions that just flow through your body in those last, like, miles, and thinking about, like, all the time you've spent and, you know, time away from people you love to train for stuff like this, and why it matters so much to you. And then the whole bigger picture of how it inspires other people. And it's just like, it all comes together in those last moments, and it just like gives you the chills, and, you know, it just tears you up a little bit, you know, coming down, and you're like, wow, like, I did all this, you know, for a bigger picture, and you know, it's not all about myself, but what can help inspire other people, you know, on this journey. And there's
a word for that. It's Greek word, catharsis, right? It's the cleansing,
of the soul.
Cleansing of the soul. And that kind of sounds like what you were experiencing in that last stretch of this race.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was just like, cleansed everything, you know, flood of emotions, and just looking back and like, this is it. Like, I can't believe I got the chance and privilege to run this race and to be able to put in a great training block and have the support that I had. And to have the people that were there support me and from afar, it was just like, wow, this is crazy. And I'm feeling amazing. I'm on one, I'm flying in. And first thing we get down to the road and my brother's right there.
Oh.
And I'm like, Todd's right there. He's like, dude. And, it's like 3 a.m. and he's like, it pissed me off. So we get down the road. Oh, no. So there's one last climb up this stairs that crosses a road and then it drops down. And it's like this fixture they made up for runners so that way they don't have to cross the road. But you got to climb 2 flights of stairs up this thing, run over this like overpass thing, and then climb down the stairs. I'm like, he's like, nope, you guys got to do this. And there's a guy there like monitoring it. And he's like, yeah, you guys got to do this. Meanwhile, he just walks across the road. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like,
you could have saved me some cramping here.
So, and then we ran it in, dude. And then I was just like, okay, I know where I'm at. And then I got onto that stretch and ran through the, Chamonix, the village. And it's just like, there was people still out there cheering everybody on. And it was just like, wow. And you're running through the village and I look back, I get all those flashbacks of watching the live stream and watching those runners, and you're like, I'm here. Yeah. Like, I'm in this moment right now, and I get to appreciate this and take this all in, and I'm not taking it for granted, and I get to the beautiful arch of the UTMB finish, and I see all my family and see Callie, and I'm just running in, and I'm like, wow, this is insane. Yeah. And cross that finish line and it's just like flood of emotions and I didn't even know what to feel at that moment. It's like, what just happened in the past 34 hours?
Mentally exhausted, physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted.
I'm just like, let's get back to the house. I'm getting cold now.
Oh, now you're cold.
I started.
Now you're cold.
Exactly.
There's a really great picture of your support group with the Logan sign behind you. Oh, dude, that picture's money.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that I noticed that I thought was really cool that you did. There's a couple people maybe finishing right around that same time, but you were giving some love to the spectators and the fans. It seemed like you were kind of running up sort of close to them, like maybe high-fiving them or interacting with them. That I thought that was really cool that you did that too. What was that like?
It was so, and that was like the whole race, dude. Like when there was part of this race where you would have little kids. I mean, they dream of this race every year. It's their Super Bowl, like I said. Like they just live and breathe the mountains out there. So when you have like kids giving you high fives, like little kids out there cheering you on, screaming your name on, it's just like, dude, you want to like appreciate the community that showed up like on hours that it's like they didn't have to be out there, but they are so invested in this sport, in this race that it's just like, it's so crazy. It's incredible. It's like Western States. It's
that's cool.
And it's just, the community is just so involved, and every town you jump into, they just love you, and to be able to give high fives to all these little kids, inspire them, because it really does. It inspires those next generation of kids to grow up in a sport like that. It's cool.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, I was like, hell yeah, Logan, that's awesome, dude. Want to get to a question from Ursula real quick.
Yes, this is a good one.
This is a good one.
This is a really good one.
By the way, if you ever have a chance to talk with Ursula and Thomas about rocks, I suggest doing it. They've got some crazy knowledge.
Yeah, you need to have them both on the pod.
We should. They would be great guests for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
But good call. But they share
rock.
some. They do. Ursula says, runners love to talk about bathroom stuff. I'm curious about what the situation was at UTMB. Duck off in the woods, carry your own toileting stuff. Do aid stations have a bunch of porta potties? Seems like the aid stations were pretty money. How would they get them there? I don't know if we know the answer to that. Or were they in towns they ran through? Any nightmare stories about the bathroom stuff?
There, honestly, I went to the bathroom. I was taking in quite a bit of fluid, so I actually, went through fluids a lot. So I was actually staying pretty hydrated. So I was peeing a lot for sure. I went number 2 once, like before the 50-mile mark, and that was out in the woods. And so that was like an emergency. Okay, I gotta get off before the aid station. So I didn't make it to the aid station, and it was on a downhill. So you're like, holy shit! Like I gotta jet off for a minute, and then basically they tell you, they give you actually like a shit bag, and they want you to like be able to dispose of it or whatever. Yeah. So, but I actually didn't do that. So I was like, sorry about that. But I bring my dude wipes, and then I just take those, and then I put them back in a Ziploc bag, and then I take it to the aid station. Yeah. But I'm like, dude, I don't have time to do. I'm not picking up my own shit. I'm sorry, dude. It's gonna be left in France, dude. It's gonna be left in France.
Oh, that's so good.
That is so good.
Oh, great for those French runners, anyways. Those guys are assholes.
Thank you, Ursula. Ursula
funny.
for the win.
That's a good one. Though.
Yeah. So while we're on a fun question like that, were there any other like just wild things you saw or did or experienced on the trail? Like, I mean, obviously, shit in the woods is one thing, and like certainly a good story. But like, are there any other like crazy things that we didn't get to as we were going through?
Well, later in the race, they had people in costumes and like dinosaur outfits on top of the mountains and stuff. Where when you're starting to hallucinate, you're like, holy shit! Like, this is not a good time to be out here with this stuff. And you're like, is this real or what the hell's going on? But there was plenty. In the beginning of the race, the first like 19 miles, we went through this like Hoka like light show thing that was insane. It was like a lit up pathway, Hoka all dialed up. But after that, there was a row of people that had flare guns and like smoke guns and chainsaws, but didn't have the bar on it. And they were just like, wow, just causing all types of ruckus. Yeah. And you're in this cone of people that you're just like, holy shit, like what is going on? People dressed up in like medieval outfits. Yeah. It was nuts, dude. The people showed out for that. Oh, but those were kind of like the only things. Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like too much fun.
Yeah.
It does.
And other than the cows, like there's a lot of cows. Like you would hear like ringing, like people like ringing bells, because at like aid stations we'd always ring like we always have these like broken up arrow bells that we'd cheer people on with. Well, you'd hear those and be like, oh dude, I'm getting to the aid station real soon. And then you'd run up and be a cow and be like, oh dang. So you'd be like,
an aid station. Yeah.
Damn it. Really?
I need to sit down.
Because I'd always hear a bell. It's like, dude, we're getting to the aid station. Yeah. And it's like fucking cow right in the single track pathway. And you're like, dude, really? Like,
it's a hurdle, right? You just jump right over them.
It's just like looking at you, like chilling.
Yeah. Living its life. Not worried at all about you.
You're on my territory.
Yeah, dude.
That's some storytelling gold.
That is. So, we kind of touched on, digging deep and seeing what you're made out, what you're made of to get through this race, that flow of emotions at the end. Looking back, would you change anything about the race? Your race experience.
My race experience.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't change the course, but,
the weather.
Yeah, or the weather.
Right.
Yeah. But the things that you have control over, what, if anything, would you change?
I don't know if there would be anything I would change, honestly. Yeah. I think I, did the best I could, and I obviously didn't even get close to my goal of what I thought I could do, and that's just the ignorance of not knowing like the course and how incredibly hard and tough it is. And I think that happens to me a lot, to where you look at it on paper and it looks all right, but when you're out there, it's like, whoa, totally different story. So I'm more than okay with like what happened out there, and I'm actually overwhelmed and happy. I was able to be put through those obstacles, and I learned so much and gathered so much information, to where I could take that to another race and implement it in anything else. It was just a great learning experience, and I really enjoyed it. I think one of the things I would probably change in my training would be hike a hell of a lot more. Hike a hell of a lot more. Get used to taking big steps, and I think that's about it. So be a good hiker.
That's good. That's good stuff. Another question from the real deal, Neil. You finished 3:54, right?
Yeah, somewhere right around there. Yeah.
Were you trying to climb the leaderboard at all? But I mean, and I kind of want to just phrase this like you finished 3:54 out of like 2,500 runners that entered.
Yeah,
that's freaking amazing, dude.
Unreal.
Like,
thank you.
You're welcome, man. Like,
especially
that's a
for
really
the first
impressive
time
finish
in this race.
Like I know I hear you saying you may not have finished at the time you wanted to, but that's still all the elements. That's damn impressive, Logan.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And were you, like Neil's alluding to, did you plan on passing people? Were you trying to climb the leaderboard?
I wasn't like, when I feel good, you want to take it and run with it. When you're feeling good, just flow with it, kind of thing. Obviously, when you're feeling bad, you want to kind of lay back a little bit and just get through that moment, because in these longer races, you're going to go through the highs and lows of it all. And usually after a very bad low, it'll be a high. It truly, for whatever magical reason, you will have a high moment after. So you just got to get through it. And then once you're through it, you take that high and you run with it. And you do what you love to do, and you run and you have fun and you take in all the views. And at that moments, in those high moments, I was passing everybody.
Yeah.
And that was just a secondary thing that came along with that. And I was like, okay, this is good. I feel great. I'm passing people. I'm feeling even better seeing people that are struggling, and I'm feeling good in this moment. And I took
such a mental boost, right?
And, I took that energy and that boost and just ran with it. And I knew every person that I caught up with, I was just like, okay, at this point we're like headhunting, we're just catching people and having
peeling
fun.
them off.
Yeah. And it was super fun. And I didn't know where I was at, placing wise, but I just, I was just like, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And, when I got to see Callie at that aid station, and she's like, you're doing so amazing. Like, you're doing, just to hear that from other people, it's like, I'm doing things right.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I need to be, what needs to get done. And that's all that matters, to be out there and enjoy the journey and come home with some lessons and be able to use that at different races and be able to tell a cool story, Yeah. Super cool.
That's cool. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Awesome. I was selfishly hoping that like you would pop up in like one of Andy Glaze's videos on social media, just because I love that guy so much. I love following him. I know. But you finished way ahead, way far ahead of him.
I passed him mile 4 or 5, and man, when I saw his jorts from like a half a mile away, I was like, God damn it, Andy! And I ran up to him. I was like, dude, Andy, because I actually ran with him for a little bit at Cocodona, but he probably doesn't remember me. But I was like, hey, dude, I ran with you at Cocodona 2023, and he's like, oh, okay. That's awesome, dude. And it was just a good little chat with him.
Cool.
That guy's a really cool dude. Yeah, I love following his stuff. He's funny.
Yeah, he is. He's really funny. I think he does a good job for the sport too.
He does.
Just the way he kind of prepares all his content. It's very genuine, and he's he puts in a lot of work.
Dude, this guy grinds it, dude. Like it blows my mind what he does. Like 260 plus weeks of running 100 miles a week. Like, dude, that guy's nuts.
How does he have the time?
Yeah, and a chief, battalion chief, it's just, it blows my mind. And how many races he does a year. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, it seems like every couple of weeks he's somewhere with his jorts.
I think he did Leadville 2 weeks before UTMB.
No big deal.
Yeah, no bit training run.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
working some kinks out.
People think I'm crazy. Oh, there's people out there that are insane, like borderline psychopathic insanity.
I have another race-related question. So, you stop at these aid stations. 2-part. How long are you staying at these various aid stations? And then how does that affect your total race time? Is that, so like if you spend 6 hours at aid stations, is that subtracted from your total time, or is it all counted?
No, it's all counted.
Okay.
Total time.
Okay.
Total time you're out there. So aid station transitions, I tried to keep those, as minimal as possible. When it's so hectic like that and you're trying to change gear and stuff like that, it really takes a lot of time, to change gear, get nutrition, especially when you're alone and you don't have crew. Like that's a huge thing, because like when I didn't have Callie at the halfway point, I looked back, I was at that aid station for almost an hour.
Wow.
And it felt like it went by so quick.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, I changed. I had to get all my drop bag. I had to redo my nutrition. I had to make sure I had everything. I got food there. I had to tape up my lucky pole to my hand, and everybody's like, what the heck is going on? Yeah. So, I was there for an hour. So I was like, wow. And then other aid stations, I was there for like a minute.
So it's really,
and I was like, what the hell?
It's really a testament to having someone there to help you get things.
Such a game changer.
Yeah.
Such a game changer.
That's wild.
It really makes the process a lot quicker. The transition's a lot faster.
Sure.
Like other 100-mile races that I've done, where I've finished, sub 24 hours. I've finished a sub 20-hour 100, where my aid station transitions were all within less than 5 minutes. And it's like, holy smokes. But the course is so different.
Yeah.
Running 20,000 less vertical gain, in these other races.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure there's something as well to not staying there too long, because maybe the longer you stay there, the easier it becomes to say, I'm done.
Yep.
Right. You sit down, you cramp up a little bit,
Yep.
or you get real comfortable sitting there talking, drinking some coffee or some nice hot chicken broth. And it's like, this sounds way better than...
You don't want to get comfortable.
Yeah.
The one thing I try to not do is sit down at an aid station unless I'm changing shoes.
That must be so hard.
If I sit down, I just...
Game over.
Getting up is just rough, so I try to just, stay standing, stay kind of walking around, keep things flowing. Otherwise, I'll just stove up and it'll be game changer. It'll be over.
Well, so how has this race changed how you see yourself as a runner or as a person? We're getting deep.
Yeah. I think it's, it's changed my complete outlook on European style running and what it's like to be over in a different culture and run.
Interesting.
It's shown me that side of running, which I've never seen before or experienced. So I think that was really cool to see that and be a part of a culture that really glorifies trail running to a degree that we glorify football or basketball. And to see that and to see the community go out and just fall so in love with a sport like that, it's given me a huge outlook on like, wow, like it's almost like, our run club here is just the outlook we have on running and how much it's grown lately. It's just been the love and outpour for it has kind of mirrored that. So I've kind of brought that same energy back. And that's why I've just been dude, I'm so motivated to be back here and to mirror that same output that culture had on running. And to change my running, I love running. And to go through that experience, it's really given me an outlook on what their style of running looks like compared to ours. Theirs is more hiking. Ours is more running. We can run more, and I like running a little bit more than hiking. Even though I love being able to run hills, but hiking it's fun, but it's definitely not my strong suit for sure.
Yeah. Well, this is totally a legacy moment, man.
Yeah.
It's so big time. Yeah, you're welcome. If you could leave a message for someone dreaming of UTMB, what would you say?
I would say keep grinding.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner. Everybody has the chance to get into this race and dream big. And and you will get there at the start line. And when you get there, you better take it all in, because it's a special moment. I don't know if it's a race I'll ever do again. I might do the Tour de Mont Blanc to go out and just hike it, but it was special to be a part of. It's nothing like I've ever raced ever, or it's a race I've never had that experience at, and it's very special. So to get out there and be running that with 2,500 runners with 130 different nationalities or something crazy like that, it's very special. Yeah, to kind of, it's like on a world stage event, for all these countries to kind of come together and all do something that we love to do and get to do and that we enjoy, and to be able to see so many different people of nationalities and cultures come together and do this one thing that we love to do it's a super cool moment to kind of take in.
This is
awesome.
Kind of got me thinking.
It's got me thinking. We keep describing this as the Super Bowl of trail running, but is it maybe more realistic to compare it to the World Cup? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Or kind of like the Olympics, kind of style.
Yeah. Right. It's
representation.
It's 130 countries or nationalities being represented, where, like in football, Super Bowl, it's 2 teams. But it's such a global thing that it almost seems like the World Cup might be a more apt metaphor or comparison for what this is.
Agree. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that diverse as far as representation. I didn't. I mean, I would have guessed like, there's probably 30 or 40 countries represented there, but over 100 is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane over there. Those, Spain, Europe to Ireland. I mean, Russia. I mean, all these, Japan, China, all these runners, coming from all around the world, to run this race, of a lifetime, to get to do is it's incredible. And to get to talk to some of these people out on the course and, get their perspective, and then end up following them on Instagram, following their journey. It's like, this is super cool. Yeah.
Your friend that you ran with, you say his name was Colin?
Yeah, Colin. Yeah.
I hope that there's some time in the future that you guys cross paths again, because could you imagine you shared that experience together, like that's something you can never take away.
100%.
You guys are like connected with the dirt of Mont Blanc, like the blood, it's like, that's so cool.
Feeding off of one another, pulling each other along, especially at the end of such a long, brutal battle.
Yeah, super cool dude. Really down to earth, kind of same mentality as me, and just a good dude.
Yeah,
another good dude.
Colin, if you're hearing this, we got a seat for you too, my friend.
Absolutely. What happened the moments after the race? I mean, it's the middle of the night, so maybe you go get some sleep. But what'd you do the next day? What'd you eat in the morning?
Yeah, we went back. When you finish these races, usually in the U.S. you get these badass like belt buckles. That's like the big craze. Like, I got my 100-mile belt buckle.
Right. Yeah.
You collect these things and get as many as you can. And there you just get a vest. So you get you run 100 miles to get a vest. So I got this cool like Hoka UTMB finisher vest, and I'm like,
there's not a lot of those.
That's badass.
There are not a lot of those.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, cool. Run, get a cool vest. Let's go run 100 miles. Like,
I flew to Switzerland to get a Hoka vest.
Yeah, so get the vest and just sitting there taking it all in and talking, with my family and stuff. And my aunt and my uncle came actually as well. They visited and watched me finish the race too, which was kind of cool.
Very cool.
And but then we walked back to the house and where we were staying at, and then I went to bed and slept for about 6 hours and woke up and I was like, dude, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, I'm feeling good. Like, this is crazy.
Wow.
Like, I've been torn up after some of these races, and I'm like, I'm actually feeling like decent. I mean, I'm not moving the best, but I'm like not in very terrible shape to where I can't walk around. Like I'm just bedridden.
Yeah.
I was feeling good, and we were just eating whatever was in the fridge, and then we went down and got lunch. Me and Callie did, and yeah, we just slept and relaxed pretty much all day.
And so that first big meal, I'm sorry to keep going back to food, but
No problem.
I mean, so did you just like house everything you could get your hands on once you slept for a few hours?
Dude. So the first thing, what did we do? We went back, and I got one giant pizza and meatballs.
Yeah, you did.
And what else? And I had a nice Coca-Cola, fresh Coca-Cola on ice. It wasn't on, tap out there. and then Callie, she got some lasagna or something. And
you finished her plate.
Indulged the whole thing, yeah. And then after went and got gelato, and had like 3 scoops of gelato. And just devoured that, and then was just like, yes, this feels great. And then watched people finish.
Because they were still coming in.
They were still finishing. Yeah. They were still coming in. So it was that next day, and I was like, I really want to go down and watch these people finish and cheer them on.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool.
And it probably meant so much that there were still people hanging around. And
there was more people at the end of this race than there were probably at the very beginning. It was packed.
Just a
that
party.
Next day. Everybody was, getting drunk at all the different restaurants and bars. And, oh, dude, it was just party central at that point.
Wow.
Dude.
Yeah.
They had the athlete interviews after that day. And, oh, dude, everybody was just jazzed up. It was so cool.
So did you guys hang around Chamonix for a couple more days after the race then?
Yeah, we hung around there for like 2 more days. And then that's when we took off to come back.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned on top of getting that cool finisher's vest, you came back with all kinds of other swag, right? You were just buying stuff, anything you could find.
The freaking running expo, that they had like over 100 plus companies out there.
Yeah.
And they had these little cabins set up for each company. And dude, I spent so much money on running gear. It was ridiculous. It was so. I actually didn't buy a pair of shoes, which I'm surprised. But
wow.
Yeah, I saved myself. Callie was actually surprised on that. So, but
was Go Tank represented over there?
Go Tank represented by Todd. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Todd was representing the Go Tank.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the tank top ripoff.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, yeah, he was wearing those around. And yeah. No, it was legit. It's crazy how many European companies that we never even hear about.
Yeah.
In terms of shoes and brand. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah. I just ran into one of those online the other day. Carhu.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
I think they're a Swedish company that makes shoes and hats, some gear. But yeah, that's really interesting. I respect the restraint that you had to not buy a pair of shoes.
I know.
Because I think you're kind of like me, kind of a junkie when it comes to shoes.
Dude,
like,
yeah.
Might as well get another pair. Had a tough day at work. Let's get a new pair of shoes.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm hungry. I could do a pair of shoes.
Yeah, Callie, she's on me about the shoes. Meaning, actually, I gotta donate a lot of those shoes to the Chico Striders this week. So
that's awesome.
So.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Did 2 pairs.
Nice.
Nice.
Did we mention the shoes he wore in the race?
And that's what I was just getting to. I know you said you switched into some Hokas halfway through or so. What did you start the race in?
I started with the La Sportiva Prodigio Pros, which are one of the newest shoes La Sportiva has come out with. And it's one of their best shoes they've actually ever produced, I think. And I don't run in La Sportiva at all, but I wanted to try the shoe because it looked great. And it doesn't have a carbon plate in it, but it has that new Piba foam, which is new high-tech foam. And the grip on it, the lugs on it are just insane. They're like 5 millimeter lugs.
Whoa.
And they just could really rip up dirt, but the ride and the plushness of the sole is just awesome. And so very great shoe.
Good to know.
Those are the ones you wore through the mud and blizzard.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. And so was the plan always to switch shoes, or was this like a like an audible, like, like I can't keep going in shoes that are this wet?
I probably, it was definitely an audible. Now I usually try to stick with one pair of shoes the whole race. I could have probably done that if I just swapped my socks, but I was like, you know what, let's just do the shoes too, because the Prodigio Pros were just caked in mud.
Yeah.
It was just so bad. It was just like, let's just completely do an audible here. I'm glad I put my other pair of shoes in there just in case, and went to them and then ran great in those Hokas. So
perfect.
And went to the Hoka Moffett X, which they actually do have a carbon plate. So
did you stop by the Hoka tent afterwards and say,
hey guys, where's the sponsorship? Yeah.
Here's my address. Here's my size.
Yeah. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
Bidwell Run Club.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know Bobby Hastings.
Yeah.
So
Hoka Aggies.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. They're like, yeah, no.
So what's next? We picked out a race, or are we just going to focus on continuing to just be such a strong force in the community and helping BRC?
After this race was like my ending to the longest training block I've ever had, like in my life. I feel like I've been training since last freaking November when I started. It was basically started with Monterey, and Monterey led into Napa, and then Napa led into Quicksilver, and then Quicksilver led into Silver State, and Silver State kind of led into UTMB. So it's just been going since November.
Yeah.
So I've been training pretty hard I've been averaging probably like 60 miles a week for the past, since November. So
pumping the brakes a little
I'm
bit
pumping
now.
The brakes. The body's pretty recovered. I do have something in my soleus muscle right here, which just kind of just popped up recently. I think it was actually after some of those speed workouts. I think jumping into those was actually a little much for me. My fast twitch fibers are like, we're not ready to really run that fast right now. So I think I need to, just get on the bike for a little bit longer and take these next runs pretty easy and go to, my favorite masseuse, Isaac over at Kinetic Freedom Massage. You guys got to plug him. Yeah, that guy's legit. He's $15 off for BRC members, so he does a really good job. So I got to get into him and get some body work and kind of get back onto it. But I'm feeling good other than this, but I'm going to take it low for the rest of the year. I was thinking about jumping in the Fall Trail Classic half, but I don't think so with this thing kind of going on. I'm just going to volunteer probably and just be at an aid station and support the community and grow this thing and just be
and recover
and
rest.
Rest. Yes, exactly.
And hydrate.
One of the biggest things. Hydrate.
Always hydrate.
Yes. Yeah. So kind of get back into strength training and build the muscles back up, get the body healthy, get in the sauna, focus on recovery and eat good food and stay healthy and focus on work and stuff like that.
Build that pizza oven.
Yes, build the pizza oven.
Fine tune your dough recipe.
Yeah.
Plan for your tomato garden. Start making your own mozzarella.
Yeah, you want to come over?
I can't maintain my own yard, Logan. You don't want me anywhere near your yard. I promise.
Yeah.
Is the reigning champ of the Fall Trail Classic gonna enter? You guys know Edward?
No.
Oh, Edward?
Yeah. I saw him out getting in some miles Saturday morning.
I haven't seen that guy in a while. He hasn't been at any
been
of our
kind of
events.
Quiet, but I think he's been kind of doing some work and training. I just wonder if he's gonna kind of.
So get this. So me and Kyler have been running, in Upper Park for a while together, and we'd always find this guy that would steal the crowns from us. And we're like, who is this guy? But it's a Strava account that only has one follower, and or whoever it is, well, it's him, but he only follows one person. So this person that steals all the crowns only has one follower, and then we go to his activities, and he actually writes out a detailed like caption and all this stuff. We're like, who are you talking to? You have one follower, like, and we're just like, who? And the person and the name is Roads Runner, and the picture is of a road runner, and it says something. It just says Roads or something. We're like, who the hell is this? Who's Roads Runner?
Yeah.
Who's this guy taking? Well, he's extremely fast runner.
Yeah.
And he's taking all the crowns. Like, we've been trying to figure out who this person is, and we found out it was Edward.
No way. That's funny.
Yes.
Because I asked him if he had Strava this weekend. He's like, no.
Oh my God, dude! If Kyler hears this podcast, and Matt Bonner too. Oh my God, he said no.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to look up Roads Runner. I've requested to add him. Doesn't accept my friend request because I know it's him.
Secret's
And
out.
the only way we know is we did a Wednesday night run and I think we went up lower trail and we climbed up 420 rock. I didn't do this run. It was one of the runs I didn't make it. But there's a segment on 420 rock when you climb up it, up to upper trail. That segment, apparently they went all out. And Andrew got like 4th on the leaderboard. And then Roads Runner got 3rd. And Kyler like did some like investigating. Yeah. He's like, and he was looking at the leaderboard and he's like, wait, this run was on the same day as Andrew's run. So it was a Wednesday night run. He's like, so this guy has been to Wednesday night run.
Whoa.
So he looked and then he figures it out and he's like, so the only person that, and then we talked to Andrew about it and we're like, so who went all out with you on that segment? He's like, well, Edward went out with me, and we're like, that's him.
Nailed
we found him, dude.
Nailed it.
Case closed, dude. We got him.
Sign these guys up for CSI,
dude. It was the craziest thing. So
this is great.
I can't believe he lied about his Strava, but
well, maybe he's not on anymore, but
I gotta look it up.
But investigative work.
Dude, that guy's fast.
He is fast.
Very fast.
He's like, oh, I'm just gonna go out for a slow run today, and I'm just looking at him.
He actually did UTMB in like 28, 29 hours. Wow. Yeah, he was telling me, he was giving me some good pointers for that race. But yeah, he did it back in 2017 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That guy's a bad man.
He's
dude.
very fast.
What was the winning time this year?
19 hours
What?
and 20 minutes. Dude, it's ridiculous. It blows my mind that those guys could run that fast.
Yeah.
And even the women was
21
or 22 hours, right around there. And I'm like, dude, what the?
Well, and now that you've seen
23,
the course, you have even more perspective.
It blows my mind.
Yeah. So
that people can run that.
Yeah, that's insane. Good for them.
But they also live and breathe out there. Like the only American that's won that race for the men's side was Jim Walmsley, and he had to move out there and live out there.
And spent a year or something, or a couple of years.
Spent a couple of years out there, and he's DNF'd that race multiple times, but it took him 3 DNFs to finally get
he figured it out. Wow.
But the American women could crush it there all the time. Katie Scheid, Courtney DeWalter.
Yeah.
Courtney DeWalter's won like
She's
4
won a
times
handful,
there, 4 wins there. And she obviously didn't have the day she wanted there, but she still got it out and finished it. 10th place.
That's what's so crazy about running too, is you can do all the training and do everything right leading up to it, and then it comes race day, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't come together, right? Something's a little bit off. Maybe your nutrition, maybe you twist something doesn't quite feel as strong as it did, and everything goes out the window, right? Well, I guess I'm just gonna do whatever I can with what I've got today.
And that's I think that was like a hard thing for me to kind of realize like early on, is like I need to do the best I can at every race, which that's no matter the outcome, you're doing the best you can.
Yeah.
But you got to also realize like the outcome may not be what you want, and you got to be okay with that, because a lot of these races I've done pretty good at, and so you set the bar so high for you, and then it's like then you get your teeth kicked in, you know, and you're like, holy shit, which I have at multiple races, but I've done good. But some of these times you just got to realize, like, dude, we're all human, and we're not gonna have a perfect race all the time. Like you're gonna have an upset race. Like but the good thing about these races that you have these upsets at is like you learn so freaking much of it, and you take so much experience from that you could apply it to any of these other races forward. And you need to have those failures. Like in life, you need to have those failures to grow. Like you can't always win. Like
I saw a quote today that said something along the lines of, you know, going out for a bad run, you know, what feels like a bad run is better than not going for any run that day, right? Or fill it in with having a bad workout is better than not having any workout, because when you don't have any workout, you don't learn anything, right? There's no growth. But when you have that bad, quote unquote bad, it's all relative, right? You get something out of that.
Exactly.
Right. It's building that consistency, and maybe it's an emphasis more on those quote unquote bad days of the mental growth that comes with that. Like I stuck it out through a really tough run or a really tough workout or a tough yoga class, right? I made it through that. So I got something out of it, as opposed to doing nothing and getting nothing out of it.
Yeah. And you want to have that mindset where, like, you know, you're growing from it, you know, because a lot of times you're like, God damn it, you know, it puts you in a bad mindset, but you can't be like that, because it's just going to make every other run worse for you. You know, it's like, you're going to have those bad runs, you're going to have those great runs. The percentage of the bad runs may be more than the great runs, but that's running. It's a hard sport.
It is.
That's why we love it, because it's hard and we enjoy, you know, going through those highs and lows of it all.
Totally.
And then it'll finally piece together, and you'll have that day you wanted, and you'll be like, wow, that was the greatest feeling ever.
Yep.
The journey.
Yep.
The journey of running.
From Bidwell Park to Mont Blanc.
Mont Blanc.
That's so badass. You got a little something on your wrist.
So this UTMB wrist little bracelet's actually been with me since the race.
Sick.
So this thing's been around 110 miles with me. And I'll wear it till it rips off. So if you DNF, they cut this thing off.
Oh.
No way.
Yeah.
That's not something you want to do. You
Yeah.
want to feel.
Yeah. So keep it on until it just naturally falls off. Yeah. It's like an umbilical cord.
Yeah, we got a special bond, so something I don't want to get rid of.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of
You earned it.
right there.
So you earned it.
I'd do the same thing, dude.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Absolutely. I might even like just get it tattooed on my wrist after it falls off. Hold on to it like, I want this on my wrist, please. Very cool.
Yeah, way cool, man. Thank you for hopping on and sharing your journey. Round 2.
It was
awesome. Logan,
It was a success.
Oh, so cool.
A TKO, if you will.
Yeah. Dude, play-by-play of that. Man, I'm right there with you in a lot of the stuff you were explaining, just like imagining it in my mind. Just like, it was so cool to hear it from you.
That's awesome.
Thanks for taking me on the journey, us on the journey.
Yeah, very cool, Logan. Yeah, we just appreciate you taking the time, like Ross said, to come share the story and everything you're doing for BRC and elevating running and inspiring the people of Chico and beyond.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me on for another time, and hopefully this will be a while till the next one, because you guys have so many people that need to be on here. So I need a break, but I love talking to you guys and talking about cool stuff that we love to do, you know, running in the community, and what you guys are doing is just awesome. People love it, and it's getting out there, and it's just really highlighting some incredible people, and that's what I've always dreamed of, is highlighting runners in this community that just, you know, there's some out there that just have incredible stories, and you're just like, I need to hear those stories.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
cool.
thanks for inspiring us, man. You're our guiding light, man. You're setting the pace, and it's it's really neat to, you know, be in your presence, and, you know, it's greatness. So
Heck yeah,
staying inspired.
Yep.
You know, you're inspiring me for sure. Us for sure.
Yep.
Fall Trail Classics coming soon.
It is.
Probably see Logan out there doing some things, volunteering.
Oh, yeah. I'll be out
BRC.
Slapping high fives, ringing cowbells.
Whether I'm running or volunteering, I'm going to be a part of that race. That's a great race. Help Fleet Feet out in China, and be supporting the community.
Yeah.
Taking pictures, cheering people on. We'll be a part of one aid station. It'll be a party aid station for sure. I don't know if we'll have the wheel of cheese, but maybe I'll try to get the Coke on tap or something.
Yeah. Big old bag.
Sparkling water. Actually, the sparkling water on tap might be better.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
That's awesome. Again, thank you. Been thinking about the long list of guests we want to get on. And it's kind of something like this, like everyone in our running community and beyond has a story. It's not just a race recap or a finish line photo, but a living, breathing journey. A story stitched into shoelaces, echoed in footsteps, unfolding with every mile. In our community, we don't just run miles, we run memories that make stories. And these stories fire us up. They remind us why we lace up, why we keep showing up. Over the last few episodes, we've had the privilege of hearing some unforgettable ones. Manny's journey, Kevin's resilience, Logan's badassness. Each one is a trail marker on the map of human experience. This podcast is our open trail. It's a place to wander through the lives of those who run not just for speed, but for meaning. It's a campfire at mile 10, a sunrise on the ridge, a shared breath in the final stretch with Pushing Pete. It's where we listen, reflect, and celebrate the messy, beautiful, unfinished stories that make us who we are. Our why is simple. We're here to tell your story, to honor the journey you're on, whether you're chasing podiums or peace of mind. So keep running your journey, keep running your story, and one day we'll sit beside you, mic between us, and hear it, mile by mile, heartbeat by heartbeat. We're out.
Nailed it.